Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, they finally put it out. Well, I mean, news of it.
How about
It
that?
does exist.
Big
Did you play 4?
yes.
Okay. But not Apocalypse, same as me. Where
Exactly.
Apocalypse came out super late.
Exactly. Um, all that it's dead, it's over, it's not happening, it's here. Yay, they did it. They announced it. Thank God.
It exists.
And it seems to check all the boxes. I only really know 4 that I know the others from observation and from watching Shmup God Pat play and things like that. But the check marks appear to be there in terms of your protagonist, your depressing Tokyo, your order, your chaos, and go fuck yourself God energy.
Yeah.
All present.
So I have a really bizarre background with that series where I played 3 and hit Matador and quit like half of all people who ever played Nocturne. And then I beat 4, and then I went and found old text LPs,
Mm-hmm.
with like screenshots
The
of the
original
first 2 games.
Something Awful LPs.
Yeah, format. and read those. So 5 is really exciting for 2 reasons. 1, it exists. That's very exciting. I like it when it exists.
Mm-hmm.
But 2, 1, 2, and 4 had a little swerve there at the very beginning. But you go to Tokyo. You go to a recognizable, if fucked up Tokyo, right? 3 went for this nightmare blasted apocalyptic hell fuck landscape, like barren wasteland nuked into dirt.
The city above, enclosing itself above you with that kind of halo energy of why is the ground going upwards? Yeah.
But everything that's not like a city street is like a deserted fucking blasted shithole. And it looks like we're gonna go back to that kind of nightmare energy with the 5th one, so that'll be nice.
We only saw the I'll call it the Jonathan Desert, and we saw the I mean, it's clearly that's only one game, obviously, I know, but we saw that, we saw Tokyo, and then
we saw Lucifer.
Yeah. I'm we haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
where the battleground will take place just yet,
Yeah.
But Kaneko art style intact.
I'm already percolating my multiverse. Which sequel is this? Shenanigans, because in this one, Lucifer's right there being God is dead. Fuck God, which means it has to be a sequel to a Chaos ending.
Is Steven
somewhere?
Is Steven gonna roll up? How is this gonna play out?
Oh, could we get a voice acted Steven? Oh, that'd be super.
So, any other company at this point in time would have started remaking the franchise, but because Atlas appears to hate money, that's not likely going to happen soon.
SMT1, the basis for this entire franchise, will stay obscure and stay bad to play.
I mean, it is kind of crazy just how much groundswell something can get while still being pushed beneath the ground, as it were. Yeah, the idea to never even remotely attempt it in any modern context, it's you kind of have a thing that people like, dudes, and they're willing to spend money on it if you give them a chance to. Golden just dropped on PC. Why the fuck would they go back and look at anything else at this point? It's kind of nutty. I really do wish that at some point in the near future, somebody starts working there that just kind of slaps them around a bit and goes, hey guys, people want to buy these games,
and then they get slapped back going, no they don't. And he goes, but why you slap me?
How people super love these Persona games you're making, they
No.
they'd probably really like the ones you already made before this too. You know, they'd probably really like the original franchise, and like they clearly still have the mainline numbers coming out. But you know what? You know what though? Like let's not forget that it's kind of a miracle in the sense that like 5 and Nocturne both dropping is already a shock. Is there any confirmation on Dante status?
Yes. And the answer is no.
Damn Capcom.
I can confirm it for you personally, because in the SMT Nocturne HD trailer, you see Raido Kuzunoha, which is Dante's replacement in
For the non-Dante version.
which was for the Maniacs edition, I want to
Okay.
say it's called, which was
Okay.
the re-release when they stopped having the rights to Dante.
Okay, that would explain that. Because I saw that and I'm like, what the fuck is Raido doing there? And I didn't know that he was the replacement.
Being like he's got a sword and a gun.
Yes,
He is
I
being a
didn't know
direct
that.
stand-in.
I didn't know that they had a Dante-less version. That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, to be perfectly honest, like, yeah, that's a equally badass like individual to guest star
Direct
in your game.
analog.
It's perfect, and it comes from your world, so that's a really good pick. Good job.
So
on that.
I just went and checked, because we're talking about like obscurity and in the dirt. You can read Digital Devil Story in English. The 1987 80s sci-fi horror novel called Digital Devil Story Goddess Reincarnation,
How about that?
which is the basis. But apparently 5 years ago you couldn't. Because I found old threads from like 3, 4, 5 years ago from GameFAQs, people going like, "Can you read this in English?" No.
It's a weird sentence to utter, but there's little bits and there's times when I wish Atlas would take a page out of Square's book. And you know, porting your games forward would be one of those things, I think. Because you said that,
Just
and I thought
porting them.
I thought you were gonna end that sentence with Digital Devil Saga, and I was gonna go like, oh yeah, right. There's 2 of those things that they could bring forward as well.
No, fuck you. No. Those games will die on the PS2.
There's so
where
many,
they deserve.
There's so
language
many
and obscurity
games that just they don't want you to play. They really could. They really could take a page out of that book and just port shit, guys. Or better yet, if you don't want to do it, if you don't like, if you're too busy or whatever, find a company that you really, really trust and ask them to do it. You know?
What is this trust thing?
Like Blue Point?
But what is this trust? Atlas knows not what you describe. Atlas only knows suspicion.
Yeah. Imagine an amazing porting company from the UK is like, we can do it. And Atlas is like, fuck you.
Wooly, this is the company that asked everyone not to talk about Persona 4's story a couple weeks ago when Golden dropped on Steam.
It's baffling. It really is baffling. But hey, today's a good day for SMT. And that's awesome. That's awesome news. Really excited about
I
that.
saw there's a guy on Twitter that's going to staple his balls to his thighs if SMT5 gets announced today.
Right on.
And you can hold him to that.
FYI, it was not apparent because this news for these Shin Megami games came from the Nintendo Direct, but Nocturne is also coming to PS4.
Oh, sick.
So if you go straight to the Mega 10 Twitter account, you see the original Japanese announcement there with PS4 mentioned as well. So
yay.
5 seems to be Switch exclusive. 4 seems to be both. So there you go. Options, folks.
Put it on the personal computer, please. Please, please, please.
No mention of that.
I gotta say, though, I watched that Switch Direct earlier today. I was up. That is my favorite version of the Switch Direct I have ever seen. Because
We
it is a
spliced the
Switch
trailers together into a video.
because it wasn't live. It was just a video they put up.
Yeah.
So like my feelings of disappointment lasted a total of 10 seconds as I scrolled through the video bar until I hit Nocturne, and then I scrolled past it to hit SMT5 and then just watched that within like 15 seconds of the thing going live.
Okay. I completely agree. I would like I know that the hype of the live announcement show is a thing, but I would take a trailer dump 10 times out of 10 personally for whatever and just go right to the things I care about, because for the things that you don't care about, you just have to sit there and fucking, you know, twiddle your balls and
Slap your tummy.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't know what to do.
You know, for what it's worth, though, since you're jumping in there,
Yeah, I'm jumping in there.
The Cadence of Hyrule trailer was also rad. Good DLC coming for that. It's a good game and it's getting good DLC, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, yeah, big SMT stuff hot out the gate. I am I don't know. I keep going back to it, but it's like, because I'm just like, maybe in some way, in some world, you know, like 5 will do good, and then 5 final will be pretty good too, and then they'll be like, hey, you know, we don't have to wait that long, or rather, it's going to take us some time before we do anything else, so consider these older games for your approval. A lot of people bought Nocturne. Maybe you might like this other game, you know, and then they just start kind of, you know, that'd be nice. It'd be nice. And I say this as someone
stupid.
I say this as someone who like needs to fucking get in there, you know?
Wooly. First of all, it's miraculous that SMT5 is going to be simultaneous release. That's actually bananas.
Yeah, it is.
I think there was only one other game that was a simultaneous release or near simultaneous, and I think it was SMT4. It came out like 2 months later. That's right, guys. The weird, obscure part of the franchise that doesn't sell that great everywhere, that's the one we have to push for simultaneous. Not the super popular in the West one. No.
We need
wait a year for that.
We need a cutscene of like all the protagonists from every mainline game and every Persona game doing their combination final attack against the god of money. and watching it die, going, why won't you take me, why won't you accept me, as they slaughter it mercilessly.
And then they all look at each other and go, who are you? And then they go, I don't know, and then walk away from each other, never to speak again.
All out attack. Perfect. Yeah, well, anyway, I mean, there's other things that to go into in terms of that direct and the announcement and stuff, but we should, you know, first things first, address our weeks. Yes,
we should. I'm so tired. I made the mistake of waking up early and then taking a nap before the podcast.
Yeah, that's always the beware the second swallow.
But the nap felt so good.
Punch Mom
felt so good to do.
Came and took a nap like, I don't know, maybe around like 7, 8-ish, and then woke up at like 11 something and went, oh shit, that wasn't a nap, that was a half sleep, and then tried to go to real sleep, and then your body's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then,
I've had some half sleeps lately. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Do you get and then like wakes up proper at like 5 a.m. going, well, I guess the day's starting at farmer hours, you know.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, I didn't have too busy of one personally. Besides the obvious, I'll say this, for a quick little hour, jumped on stream. Austin was raising funds for charity Equality Now, and basically, used the opportunity to get some Persona Ultimax runbacks going. So I popped an Ultimax, tried to dust off.
You crush him?
Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty. It went
balls
pretty strongly in my favor, but he had some good work. He put some work in there.
Who's he play anyway?
Naoto. And Naoto versus Akihiko is one of my favorite matches in all of fighting games. As you can imagine, just one character is shooting the guns and laying the traps and running the fuck away from you, and the other character is dodging the traps and Dempsey rolling and moving in and rushing you down. And it's the ultimate game of cat and mouse with a gun. It's more fun than anything. I love it. Like, there's different versions of that I've played. I talk about Blanca versus Dalsim, or I don't know,
Everyone versus Dalsim.
Yeah, in some ways, or if you're whatever. There's Zoner versus Rushdown, but this is the best version of cat versus mouse with a gun. It reminded me a lot, as usual, every time you touch that game, that you're like, you touch it, you play it, you have a lot of fun, and then immediately upon stopping, you're once again brought with the same feeling we started the podcast on, which is, Atlas, what the fuck are you doing, guys? Like, you've done, like, this is sitting right here, and it's great, and it works, and
it's still my favorite Arc System Works game.
It's unbelievably fun, and there's just no reason for this to not be easier to play right now. It doesn't make sense. It's the work is done.
There's a thread going around earlier that, I mean, it's tangential, but it's like, is fighting games the genre that was the absolute worst prepared for quarantine? It's like, yeah, no question.
It's definitely the most embarrassing, based on the fact that it should have been like the best prepared. It's like online chess. You know what I mean? Like, what do you need to do?
Because I saw a lot of people talk about, like, oh, you want to play this fighting game? It's like, can't play that one. That one's netcode is so bad it's unplayable. Can't play this one because fuck.
So
like 3 or 4 fighting games you can play right now.
Yeah. So we I mean, we played, and Persona, it's like it's delay based. It is what it is. We played our matches, but yeah, it would be really nice to see anything brought forward from that. I don't know why Atlas hates money so much, but I was reminded of the exact same thing earlier, by playing it. But God, such a fucking good game, and you can't.
The game's incredible.
You can't finish it, or you can't like go play a set and then get off of it and not immediately start thinking about Part 5 movesets. You just start thinking about the Part 5 cast and what their moves would be like.
See, what I think about is not even the Part 5 cast. I think about the Part 4 cast given 2 extra years.
Plus time.
Yeah.
And we've had this discussion before, and it goes to the same places.
And I want you to just be in the same clothes, just it's not a uniform, just same outfit, except the collar is now past his head. And he's like homeless. Like he peaked in high school, and he's just kind of scruffy and hasn't showered in a while, and he's begging for change.
To be perfectly real, you're describing Yosuke, not you.
No, I know exactly what Yosuke would be. Yosuke would have the fucking apron on permanent because he's working at the butcher shop.
Yeah.
At the Junes.
That's
permanently.
Really, yeah.
Because dad knew he was a washout at college, so he gave him the butcher job at Junes.
Anyway, playable Shido. You know what it is. You know how it looks. You know what form it takes. You know what music is playing.
Yeah, except it would be the second form Shido and
Of
not
course.
the first form Shido.
No,
And that
no, it would be the cool one. It would be the cool one. You know what it is. Anyway,
Wait, you think the muscle version is the cool one?
it would be the shirt coming off, and it would be, let's go, you know. But anyway, um, I yeah, played some Ultimax, had some good times, and then of course, sponsored by PlayStation, I played Ghost of Tsushima.
That game is fucking gorgeous.
It is staggeringly, stunningly beautiful, as intended, as designed. They super duper nailed the cinematography, and I saw a fun post where someone was like, "Hey Japan, Japan looking at the West, going, hey, nice Japanese." Nice game about Japan, West, and the West is like, nice game about the West, Japan, and there's Dark Souls, and you know.
Nah, man, it's
Tsushima.
Deadly Premonition. Come on.
Sure.
Deadly
Sure.
Premonition's the game about the West.
Yeah, I know, but
Deep South, Zach.
yeah, but it's not a swordsman.
I
You
can
know?
feel it. No, it's a gunman.
Yeah,
The most Western man of all.
Yeah, but it's a knight with a sword and a samurai. Like what?
Feel that molten sun pouring down on us.
Anyway, I think I don't know about you, but like I went right to big on full weeb mode.
I did not.
Turned them on, and I was pleasantly rewarded with one Akio Otsuka immediately as the voice of your uncle.
I didn't do that because, well, one, when I'm streaming it, everybody complains if they can't just do whatever the fuck they're doing while listening to it in dub mode. Mm-hmm. But also the lip syncing's all for English. So
yeah, it is. The lip syncing didn't bother me. It didn't bother me. But I did. I brought it up, and like there was, you know, people that wanted to be able to minimize, and they were, and that, you know, I took a poll. I straight up took a poll and said, hey, my preference is to play the samurai game with Japanese voices on. What do you think? And it was 70-30 in favor of subtitles. So we went with subtitles. But 30 is not insignificant.
So usually, this is when I'd be like, Wooly, you goddamn weeaboo. However, this is kind of a special situation because this is the first game that I can remember playing in which, as you often like to describe, the camera is a weeaboo. The camera is a huge fucking weeaboo. The game is so in love with Japan and Kurosawa films that it is almost absurd at times, and parts of the game's story don't make sense because it loves Japan so much.
Huh, interesting. I saw someone I know jumped online to say like this Japanophile porn is just too much and it's excessive and it's actually ruining the game for me. And based on, I mean, I had one session on it, right? So I played about 3 hours, you know, intro plus the first two main mission threads, and then a little bit of traveling. And I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
It is
what they're referring to, because based on what I saw off the jump, it seems to be like mainly homaging Kurosawa, which if you wear that on your sleeve, and it's the name of the black and white mode. I mean, if you from the jump tell everybody what your point is, then like I don't know if like it gets like how much worse it would get, but I find it a weird thing to take issue with. But I don't know what else is coming.
So I can tell you exactly what it is describing. So let's look at, we want to play a Japanese samurai game in which you have a good setting for an open world, right? There's actually, unless you want to do Sengoku, which you could, like everyone literally has done 100 million times. You want to try anything different, you have a couple time periods that you can put your game in. You can have 5 to 10 different time periods in which your samurai is just fucking shit up in Korea and China as a monster. Probably bad. Not very heroic.
We're not.
Or you have 2 back-to-back Mongolian invasions in 1271 and 1274. Right?
Stop me if I strongly doubt the ghost of Nanking is happening anytime soon.
Right. So, all right, here's a situation where we have an island off the coast of Japan gets invaded by the Mongols. It's like hundreds of thousands of Mongols. There's like 80 samurai. They got fucking wiped out. Great. Like that battle is like, you know, Jin doesn't survive in reality. They got fucking wiped out. Okay, cool. Great. But here's the problem. That takes place in 1274, right? Or 1273-ish? Okay, here's things that didn't exist in that time period. Katanas. The haiku.
Okay.
The Code of Bushido, which was
I
invented in like the Meiji Restoration in the 1800s and then retroactively applied to samurai in the past.
Okay.
Because samurai were just feudal mercenary lords that were total pieces of shit like any other feudal lord anywhere else.
A bunch of them were dicks, yep.
So like the version of historical fiction that we're looking at, it's a Kurosawa movie that's like 400 years early. So it's silly. It's silly. Like, I totally get what they're going for, but like when your uncle in a flashback is like, the samurai must be so honorable. You look your enemy in the face. And it's like, this is a guy who in the real time period he exists in would go test out his katana on peasants in the fields.
Yeah. Not great. Not great when you go back down to the accuracy of the time. But all things considered, What was the other battle? Because you're saying what the choices would have been?
You have fucking up Korea and China, and you have Mongolian Invasion 1 and Mongolian Invasion 2.
Right, okay.
I believe they're like 3 years apart.
So then, basically, is that the reason why
1274 and 1281. So this is Mongol Invasion 1.
So that's why we're stuck with Nobunaga forever.
Forever.
Because that's the only, like...
Because at least it's Civil War.
And it's inside.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only time it wasn't really woof. Oh, man.
It's like if you go into like Romance of the Three Kingdoms is really popular because a shit ton of Chinese wars in antiquity are just foreign powers coming in and dumping on China. But the Three Kingdoms era is, oh man, look at this hero and this guy, and Cao Cao was there and he was a super smart guy and Lu Bu was a bastard, etc.
So yeah, okay, no, that makes perfect sense. And what's it gonna be? Is that it's Mitsuhide? Oh no! Yeah,
it's really funny when Jin is like, there's these moments of gameplay where like they zoom in on because when you get into duels, it zooms in on your sword, so his thumb flicks up the blade out of the sheath, and then you do that cool duel, and then you kill the guy, and he's like, "Oh, I feel bad for killing this guy because it wasn't honorable." And then you go write a haiku, and I'm like, "None of this is possible. Not a single thing I've done in an hour makes any sense at all."
Okay.
Like, it's pure fantasy weeaboo-ness, but it's like it wants to be historical.
Now, how often does
it's super weird.
How often does that bullshit happen in every Assassin's Creed game? Or
very not as often. That's why they pick a bunch of lame time periods that nobody gives a shit about.
Time periods where it could have happened while no one was looking. And there was sort of
so like one of the things Assassin's Creed loves to do is that back in the day, tons of people just disappeared for no reason. So they just go, "Hey, so and so, hey, Here's a great example of how seriously Assassin's Creed takes its bullshit. Remember Assassin's Creed? Did you play Assassin's Creed 2?
Yeah.
So you remember how
I dropped off like after Black Flag.
Okay, so in AC2, right? You're trying to kill Borgia for the whole game because he's a motherfucker and killed your family.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the end, and it's like, shit, he's the Pope for like 15 more years after the end of this game.
Yes.
So you can't kill him.
It's not
so
a
instead, you
Tarantino
beat
joint.
him up and leave.
Yeah.
And don't kill him for no reason.
Because you can't.
Because you can't.
That's correct.
This is the Ghost of Tsushima is the Kurosawa / Tarantino approach to history.
Well, so at the same time though, like you have to like think about 300, right? When the fucking spear gets hit, when the spear gets tossed and like it lands next to Xerxes, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's Tsushima is the 300 of the invasion of Tsushima.
Okay.
So like that's really funny and hilarious. Like it's not a problem. It's just like constantly silly. Because it really wants to be a Kurosawa movie more than a historical fiction. Like it wants to be Seven Samurai more than anything.
Okay.
And that's why like every plant and tree is just bursting all of its fucking loads of seeds at you every millisecond of the day.
Now, personally, I can accept this like idealized bullshit romanticization of the era and still press on while laughing at it. You're like, the way it sounded from my friend at least was like it was a deal breaker.
Well, it depends because the game is it like Jin sure loves talking about honor and how much this is honorable and how much that isn't honorable.
Yeah. And to be fair, when you see,
loves it.
And to be fair, like in the first like mission or two, when you start seeing where he got his code from and why, you're like, oh yeah, he's super obsessed because of how, you know, he came to be. And the way the game is marketed, and my hope is that the marketing was accurate, where they're like, but over the course of this game, you will learn to be like, yeah, fuck that shit.
I'm starting to see a little bit of that where I'm at, where he's starting to be like,
being an honorable, noble samurai is not always going to be the answer, and the whole point of the title is you're becoming the ghost of Tsushima, which is you're not a coward, stabber in the back, or thief, man. You're a ghost, and that's the word that makes it all seem cool.
I would describe the first 3 hours of Jin's story of Jin being like actively stupid, like no protagonist I've seen in a while, in which you have a character going, can we sneak past these dudes? And he's like, no, I will fight every man in the village.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm super down. I disagree with you 100%. The fact that you're in a crouching stealth position, and then the character's like, I'm going to stand up and walk into the open and call you out, and you have a call-out button, and the reward for using the call-out button is the best mechanic in the game. Fuck you, I'm in love with that. I'm super down.
How far did you get? Did you...
I did the first mission where you go with your archer buddy, and then I did the other first mission
so you
where
got
you go
past
with the
the
other
MGS3 boss on the bridge moment.
Yes.
Okay, because... Oh, man, can we just talk... So, I don't like Jin very much. And I think the reason why I don't like Jin very much is because I want to join the Mongols, because Khotan Khan is the best. Khotan Khan is the best. He has the best villain introduction I've seen in years.
I mean, I talk about it during the video a bunch, but just as a reminder, like, you go listen to Dan Carlin's Wrath of the Khans podcast about how that army worked, and it is no surprise they got as far as they did, because they were fucking baller. They were, like, unstoppable on horseback with bow and arrows, shooting fucking 120-pound arrow, like bow and arrow pulls, and like they had the accuracy to hit like the eye of a bird or whatever the fuck it was in that situation.
Yeah.
And then they also had a thing going where if they conquer you but you're a badass, you can rise through the ranks on meritocracy and make your way up to being wherever you get in the army of the Khans. It was kind of nuts.
But fuck that. He does Adachi so dirty. It's the best. It's the best. It's my favorite thing I've seen a villain do in years and years and years.
Have you seen American Gangster?
I have.
Remember the
very
opening
similar.
10 seconds?
It's very similar, yeah.
It's the fucking ancient Japanese version of that.
If Khoton had a fucking gun, he would have just shot him. Just
basically,
bam.
pop, and hard cut to the title.
And we get a nice little speech that is like, while you were training the blade, I was studying like a nerd.
Yeah,
dumbass.
So you have the meme, and we know the meme. That was really surprising because it's like, you know, like, and then he straight up has a response to the meme is, and while you were studying the blade, I was studying you. And I was fornicating.
I think the game's use of like language starts to get really good with him because I mean I'm playing in English, right? But everybody who speaks Japanese speaks English. Everybody who speaks Mongolian speaks Mongolian. And then every now and then you run into Mongolians who speak English, which means they're speaking Japanese, and you're like, "Oh shit."
In the sub,
cool.
In the sub version, it's same thing. And when he's saying "I learned your language," he's speaking Japanese. So
cool. That's nice.
He'll turn to talk to whoever in Mongolian, and then turn back and speak Japanese in those moments. So like it's a pretty accurate flow. Yeah, I think the other thing as well that's great about our main boy is, at least while the walls are up right now, he has a very clear energy that is like, you know, man, fuck this shit. This sucks. I don't want to be slooping through the dirt. And then you do this stealth kill, and it's the least clean assassin kill you've ever seen. It's such a garbage kill
ever. It takes like a full minute.
Yeah, and he's just on the floor, and you're all it's terrible, messy and grit and just awful. And then later on, you know, you're dealing with like peasants, and like he's talking to them with this kind of like authority of like
I'm
a samurai.
Lord Jin Sakai.
Yeah. And he's trying to like, and he has this kind of aura about him. We're just like, bitch, we saw you squirming in the dirt. Get the fuck out of here with that. You know, like, let's not pretend we can't see the scuff marks on your fucking hilt, man. You know?
One of the better things about the game's progression is that the stealth kills, like one of your upgrades, is just how fast are your stealth kills. Mm-hmm. Because your stealth kills at the beginning are really long. They're crazy long. And then you get an upgrade. Now they're like 1 second. And then the final upgrade's probably instant.
Which, again, like, he's trying to kill really fast from the front, but doing it in this like sneaky form where you're not in your proper stance and you're hunched over and afraid of who's gonna see you from behind. Like, yeah, you're not a ninja. You're not that. You're nothing. You're figuring it out. And you know, I'm gonna be a bit predictable and just bring up Vagabond because something that story
that is predictable
introduces nice and early is like, you know, it's like, hey, you're in a life or death situation, you're about to die. Well, there's your honor, or there's picking up a clump of dirt and throwing it in that guy's eye and fucking killing him because you don't want to die, because not dying rules. And like, as you go through this entire story and the philosophy of like this wild beast kind of slowly getting tamed, it happens in a really realistic way. But the most important thing at all times is, yo, you know what's fucking awesome? Not fucking dying. That shit
not being dead's
tight.
Pretty good.
That shit is tight, and it never stops being tight. I'm a big fan of not being dead. So I love the fact that, yeah, you can philosophize all you want in your perfectly pressed hakama, but at the end of the day, not dying is the most important thing at all times, and you're an idiot if you don't fucking follow that through. It's great.
So I will say, like, I think the story in the game is actually pretty bad.
Okay.
Because usually, I was thinking about how to phrase this. Usually, Wooly, you would at this point go to me, Pat, okay, I know you want to talk about the story, but no spoilers. I don't think there's anything to spoil in this game.
Yeah, I actually didn't. I had nothing to say there. I was not gonna, I wasn't even gonna stop
point,
you,
right?
Because I don't even mind. Like, there's nothing to really hear about.
I went and hung out with this person, and we were gonna go avenge their dead family, and then I helped a guy get food back from some band, and it's real stock.
It's gonna go somewhere.
It's all well acted, and it's all fun to do at the time.
It's definitely it's
the
definitely
game has a
somewhere.
real like point A to point B. What's the story about? Get rid of the Mongols,
right? But like in the meantime, before it gets where it's going, there's a lot of horseback riding around the beautiful Japanese island countryside to do, and there's a lot of Assassin's Creeding to Creed.
I will have how to put this. This game's story has a big problem that I don't want to talk about on the podcast because I haven't encountered it yet. But it's the problem of basing your game in a historical time period, which is how closely is it going to follow the events of that conflict?
Oh, history spoilers?
History spoilers big time.
Okay, gotcha.
Big time.
Gotcha.
To the point where the war has a very specific, definitive end. And there's a couple ways the game could deal with it. Some would be really bad, and some would be really funny. But I can't see any of them being really good.
I think the best way to treat these types of stories, though, like, is when you deliberately pick a period where we know the predetermined outcome, and you just tell a story inside of that period where, because of the fixed point of history at the end, things can be more powerful knowing where they're going to go, in a way, I
think I usually agree with you on that. I would not say it is the case with this one.
Interesting. Okay.
This story is built around a historical sequence which ends in a famous anticlimax.
Okay.
Which I'm like, okay, how are you gonna gamify this hilarious historical anticlimax?
Okay.
Because the war that the game takes place in is really short.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's weird. It's a really bizarre situation.
Maybe like the societal anticlimax can be achieved through a very climactic personal journey.
Maybe I have an idea of what that'll be, and if they do the idea that I want, I'll be like, yay, because it's my idea. That makes it better. I'm also on the lookout for magic, because if you add magic into the story, you can do anything the fuck you want.
Yeah. Or again, Tarantino.
I haven't found any magic yet, but it's always like kind of like, but what if it was magic? Like, oh, the foxes bring you to the shrines.
The animal spirits, and the kitsune, and that's the right now the energy you're getting is like believing in the power of nature and the wind.
Oh, that bird happened to fly me to this important location. Thanks, bird. You really were guiding me all along. The game's pretty.
Shoutouts to exploding red barrels in an ancient Japanese context.
So, that is one of the historical details that is actually dead on. Because that is the first time gunpowder was ever used outside of China.
Even though there so far was only bow and arrows and swords. I haven't encountered anyone using gunpowder.
There are dudes that are throwing like ancient grenades at some point in the enemy list.
Okay.
And you learn
learn
very early on, like, you know, you can have your ghost abilities, which is like a sticky bomb or smoke bomb, which use black powder. The only problem I have with that is that when you encounter that stuff for the first time, Jin doesn't go, holy shit, what the fuck is that? How do they have the ability to make things explode? He just talks about it like he knows. It's like, oh, they have black powder. And it's like, that shit is sorcerous at the time.
You know, he's been on the battlefield before. It's not his first rodeo. Could have happened off camera. What, though, how do you feel? How do you feel about...
It actually couldn't have.
It couldn't have.
The Mongols that show up on the beach in the intro, are the first people to ever physically carry black powder out of China.
That is the beginning of the conflict.
That is
historically.
That is number one step ever in history of black powder outside of the Chinese borders.
Wow. Okay.
So the fact that like they're riding into like that firestorm at the very beginning of the game and they're not going, what the fuck is this?
All right, listen, your wiki diving might ruin this game a little bit, but but it's okay. We'll
before I played the game the night before, I brushed up on my Japanese history.
Yeah, you did. What I don't know, like there's a thing here and just kind of not just in terms of history, but just what do you feel about the fact that like this game, there's something about all of these AAA Sony third-person like flagship games that just has the same energy?
This is the third game that they've made in a row that is like this. They had Horizon and Days Gone and this, and they are all they're all like the identical genre.
And you can, and even though this is all Sucker Punch, right? You can rope in Uncharted. You can rope in Spider-Man even to some degree.
Yeah. Oh, Christ, forgot about Spidey-Man.
Yeah.
That's like, totally the same game also.
It's a fully accurate New York City, man. Like, you know, like there is just a large, clear Sony main flagship AAA energy that like there needs to be at least 2 or so a year, and they're skinned differently, and the details differ, but overall, there's just a very samey vibe to it. But it's like, if it's interesting enough and directed well enough and it's fun enough, then yeah, that's fine. It's, you know what I mean? It's funny to me that I'm like, oh, I've felt this energy before.
Oh yeah, this game feels like a alternate reality Assassin's Creed, like Assassin's Creed 7, but in Japan.
The wall climbing in particular is you start to see the way he leaps from point to point, and you're like,
but that's the way Nathan Drake climbs things actually.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Assassin's Creed climbing animations are very recognizable because they have the same little like head turns and jerks, you know. But yeah, Infamous as well, right? Yeah, there you go. It really is a thing where like, hey, it's not a formula as much as it is a template.
We want a game that's like this.
And it's like, okay,
we like it when our studios make these.
Are you using batarangs and grappling hooks, or are you using a horse? You know, what'd
you name your horse, by the way?
I didn't. I got my deluxe DLC horse available immediately with the special horse armor.
But it doesn't come with a name?
Oh, wait. Yeah, Kage. I named him Kage.
Oh, you named it Kage. Okay. I named my horse Sora because I thought it was funny to to be able to talk to Sora and go fight the darkness, and that joke maintained its funniness for me up until this morning.
Nah, I went with Shadow Kage. Shoutouts to Kage the Warrior, the game
gold
player.
Horse named Shadow, huh?
I wanted to pick like the black one for Shadowfax, you know, but
Shadowfax is a white horse.
Shadowfax isn't it Shadowfax black?
Shadowfax is a pure blinding white horse.
Well then, White horse named Shadow, then.
Nailed it.
They did it first.
You did it, buddy. You're killing it.
Well, I had the big old legendary digital deluxe horse armor, and then I immediately got the digital deluxe special, like armor with the mask and the mustache on it type of thing, the ceremonial armor. And it actually they have stat bonuses, right?
Yeah.
But playing through the intro cutscenes where you're supposed to be like pathetic with this,
and your armor's supposed to be wrecked.
And you're shining and ceremonial, and like it's too much. It's so intense, and like they take the mask off so that your face can still show up and do the acting, but it's such an immersion ruiner because like your premium fucking costume is just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like Norman Reedus wearing the dumb hat and shades while
all characters give speeches to him,
Cliff
and he goes,
is
I
fucking
don't care.
attacking.
Yeah, I ended up getting to a point in the game where I'm at now where I have like 3 or 4 different armor sets leveled up, and I don't use any of the ones that have any combat abilities. I'm only using the one that vibrates when items are near, because I've gotten like very used to the combat, and it's like I don't care about more melee damage. I don't care about better sneaking. What I care about is these collectibles that I will miss if I don't have this fucking thing on.
That's interesting. I have a very specific thing I want out of this game, and it is obviously, besides the parrying based abilities, I want to do the fucking draw kill, the negative edge slash. I want to do as many of those in a row as possible.
Well, that's not armor based. You just use skill points for that.
Yeah, I'm focusing on that. Oh, okay. You mean the like the crafting material?
Yeah, I mean the armor sets.
Right. Okay, I haven't done any of that yet, so cool.
Yeah, game's gorgeous. Game's a little
fun so far.
What's the word? Story's kind of safe, a little too safe. The game's best feature is the fact that it hates your menus. It hates you using a menu. It doesn't want you to use a menu at any time. So it wants you to fucking like stare at the fucking wind and have no HUD for as much as it can possibly get away with.
I hard called the fact that I'm like, this being the big flagship AAA third-person PlayStation game. I like the moment it first booted, I'm like, there is a 100% chance that there will be no title screen. And I was not wrong. There's like,
I'm sure it'll be there at the end at some point, or
and no, not a title drop. Like there was a beautiful title drop. It was fucking stellar over the field as the forest opens up on your horseback moment.
No, he means you start the game up and you select your settings, and then it just you're in the game.
Yeah, because these are the games that are like, we're doing the movie thing, and pressing start and loading and pressing start takes away the movie thing, and we want you to feel that movie thing. Unfortunately, I really do like having the ability to get most of my settings done, but at least they give you the brightness thing, the brightness check, and then they let you set your language and your difficulty, and then like they fucking send you on your way.
There we go.
You know. Yeah.
The game's use of HUD with the wind is incredible. I fucking hate playing Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead, and you're like, look at this incredible landscape that you don't see because you're staring at the mini-map to figure out what turn you need to make.
So some open world games are the kind where you're engrossed in the world and like it's beautiful and you enjoy it enough to just kind of like take the long way. Sometimes this is one of those games. I felt that way about Breath of the Wild. I just enjoy taking the long road sometimes. And this is going to be a weird one, but I felt that way about The Saboteur.
All right, that is a weird one. You're right.
The black and white Paris Nazi blitzed and color play in that thing was really interesting, and I enjoyed that as well. But yeah, this is gonna be like, okay, there's your objective, cool. Ride the other way and just go see what's going on until you get bored of that, and then hit your objective. Because at the very least, you're gonna like be like blown away with the visuals, you know.
It's just like I have not run into that problem once of, okay, where is this? And then pull up the map and then like zoom in to figure out, is it in the building? Is it out of the building? Because the broad strokes of all the foliage like blowing in one direction is good enough 99% of the time. And then when you get within 50 feet, it just gives a little tiny icon that's like the little wind icon that says, okay,
Foliage?
go over here.
Foliage,
Yeah.
foliage.
Foliage. It's pronounced foliage.
I thought it was foliage.
You'd be wrong.
What I also enjoy so far. No, you'd be wrong.
Would I?
Yeah.
Would I?
Seems so.
It's pronounced foliage, Lisa. Foliage.
Right. Everyone whiffed it then. Anyway, the thing that I think is pretty strong so far is you pointed out the villain being excellent. What else is excellent is the so far 3 supporting characters I've been introduced to, all rad. All 3.
Yeah, they're all right.
Sensei, Archer Lady, and Uncle, killing it. Great. Love that energy.
Have you met Grandma with no chill yet?
No, I don't think so. Unless you're talking about Yuna?
No, I'm talking about Lady Adachi.
No.
Or Masakato, I think her first name is. She has no chill.
Nice.
She is... She's the member of the team that you look at and you'll go, you'll be cool if I leave you alone for a minute, right? And she goes, yeah, dude, it'll be cool. And you come back and everyone's dead. And you're like, I thought you said you'd be cool.
Nice. Okay.
You told me you would be cool. Things were not cool.
Dude, games like this, like, they need to thrive on the people you'll be talking to for the next 40 hours being really interesting or fun to talk to. You know, like it's mandatory, right? I think about everyone. Well, one, think about Peter, right? Then think about Parker in the PS4 game.
Okay, thank you. I thought of Peter Griffin first.
Yeah, no. And then think about like most of the people that you're talking to for that game on a regular basis, and you're like, oh yeah, these are some interesting relationships, these are fun, I like this, you want to see more of those. Like it needs to be strong. And like I feel like everyone we've been introduced to so far is kind of similar in that it's like I like the cut of all of your jibs. Every jib has had a good cut.
So far I've enjoyed pretty much everybody except for Jin. I think he's my least favorite character in the game by far.
I enjoy him as the fuck up he is. I like his bumble so far, and I want to see where that bumble step goes. Can we turn that bumble into a bumbling flash step?
Like you meet up with a guy who's like an old friend of his, that's like leader of the Straw Hats, like, you know, the dudes with the cool hats. And he's just a more likable Jin. He is almost the same guy. He looks really similar. He's just a little bit.
The guy was he locked up? The guy you free?
No,
okay.
The guy you free, he tells you to go meet this dude. Everybody I've ran into, including a bunch of like the one-off no-name bandits, seems like more interesting than Jin. Like every boss fight I've had against a unique duelable character has been more interesting than Jin, which is fucking crazy. Jin's just like a player avatar to the fucking maximum.
So I was kind of hoping that we would be playing as a Toshiro Mifune stand-in. Doesn't seem likely. Not happening. I'm hoping we can get some sort of side character with that energy. And I'm fully anticipating a cool samurai with a little boy near him at some point. Just so we can throw all the references in together.
Mm-hmm.
He's the main character of Seven Samurai, and he's the brash one. He's the dude that's just kind of fucking, impulsive. He's the Mugen. He's got that big Mugen energy. That and like he's the fucking best part of that movie. And I want that full reference in there, or at the very least, that's that fucking that aura, Yojimbo, all of that.
Like I'll take some generic side quests as an example with Jin, where old lady is like, bandits stole my food, and he goes, that's terrible. Where are these bandits? They're over there. Don't kill them though. He's like, I'll try my best. Then you go and you run into the bandits and they're eating her food, and you fucking wipe them out like in a second. Kill the shit out of them. He goes, now they have paid for what they have done, these dirty bandits. And you return the food, and the lady's like, oh, I haven't eaten in forever. Oh, thank God you stole this food from the bandits. And he goes, what? This wasn't your food? And she goes, no, yeah, I lied. And he goes, I will not give you the food now because you lied to me. I would have helped you. Shame on you. And she goes, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh. And that's the end of the quest. That's that, it's like Jin had
Ghosts.
no meaningful or interesting interaction with that at all. He was kind of like a fucking board of drywall.
Love it. He got played. The fool got played. I love it. Become the ghost. Yeah.
And it's just like, darn.
Yeah, so
you didn't have to kill the bandits? Yeah, whatever. They were bandits. They were gonna die one way or the other. I was
definitely also like having memories of Neo with the quick switching over. Yeah, and archery,
Also having memories of DMC Devil May Cry with the stance switching. There's a real like red enemy, blue enemy, red stance, blue stance thing going on.
Well, they show you on the fucking like unlocks, like swordsmen use stone stance, right? This uses that. This use that. Every enemy has their.
It is annoying when you're in like huge groups of enemies and there's like every different enemy type and you're switching between each one.
It would be less annoying if there was a hard lock-on,
which I can't believe the game doesn't have.
The weirdest thing, and probably the biggest fault so far, is the complete lack of a hard lock-on,
or soft lock-on.
You do have an auto lock-on where like it orients you towards somebody, and if you don't tap, if you're neutral on the stick, you'll swing towards them. But if you're holding any other direction or whatever the case is, the camera will sometimes not center properly, and like the person you're staring at and sort of focused on will not be dead center. They'll be like back up against the wall towards the camera. And I've had like 2 or 3 moments of that I'm like,
I think what's even weirder than that is that nothing in the game ever has any transparency. So when you go into a tent, you have a second where you're completely blind. because the door flap just goes right over the top of the camera.
Yeah.
And every single enemy I have ever found inside a tent is looking at something to the side, because I guess they know that would be fucked up to blow your stealth on something you can't see. But I've had situations where like trees like just block my whole screen when I'm like doing a duel or something like that.
Yeah, it's just very weird that because like, and when you get into a group fight, it still is going into Ass Creed Batman combat, you know, where tilt towards this character, this enemy, and you'll like fly in that direction, and you know, most assuredly like swing and hit them. But you just don't have the ability to be like R3, stick to this guy, you know, cycle to this guy next, cycle to that guy next, and you know, it's. I don't think it's like a function of difficulty as much as it is just like I prefer if we had precision on those things, you know. I wonder why they didn't do it.
I have no idea. Overall, game seems really solid. I've been playing a lot of it. It's very nice. It's very relaxing.
How far are you?
I say like 10 hours. I've filled out about half of the bottom of the map. Which one of the weirder things in the game is that you'll have a story, and you met him, the archer guy, right? Ishikawa? And the story will be, you got to get Ishikawa to help you take down the castle, right? And the other one's like, you got to get Yuna's brother to make you a thing, and you got to get the Straw Hat Ronin to help assault the thing, right? And then you do that character story, and they go, okay, I'll help you. I got my own shit to deal with still. But when you want to go do that main mission, I'll help you. The Ishikawa one's really crazy because you do that story, and it's like 1 of 9 quests complete. And you can just not do the remaining 8.
And he's still on board?
Yeah, because the yellow marked quests are the ones that matter for your MSQ, your main quest. Okay. And it's just like, really? That's a lot of optional quests that you just don't have to do at all.
I mean, the way it plays out, at the very least in that first one, is just kind of like, oh man, damn, so that girl's gone, huh? Yeah, she's super badass, but oh well. Help me? Help you? It's like, I guess. You know?
I guess.
And you kind of, like, the rescue mission is a botch, so what are you gonna what, you know?
Do you promise to help me? Yes, I promise that when you go to do that mission, I'll be an NPC that will do the prescribed thing at that one door at that one time.
Right. Yeah.
I promise.
It also, like, the I also got the big ol' Chivo kit thing with the copy, and there's one. Like, each of there's 3 achievements that all have an associated physical item to get, and I got one of them so far, and it's like an actual iron cast sword guard. So it's pretty cool. Like, I thought that was a nice touch that came with that version. I could use it to replace my existing sword guard.
That's who Tomoe is. Okay. Sorry, yeah. The girl is totally a historical figure.
Oh, rad. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, main guy actually straight up says, like, he says, like, I'm the son of Kublai, I think.
Yeah. Khoten is totally a person.
Yeah. So he's just like, hey, look at it's me. You can point me out.
I'm Kublai Khan's cousin.
You can point me
Genghis
out on
Khan's
the family chart.
grandson.
Very cool. Very cool. We'll see where that go.
That game, I bet that game remains incredibly and almost annoyingly consistent the whole way through in its quality. I bet that game has no peaks and or valleys.
Probably. And
because it hasn't in all the time that I played it. It has been super consistent.
I'm also assuming that like there's going to be some point where, because this is a real event that took place, and this was an invasion, and they were like fighting back the Mongol army. I'm waiting for the like, okay, so to us the invaders are monsters, we got to kill them all, fuck these guys. And I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop where there's a like, let's go into their side of the culture to see what was happening here for a moment and realize that history is complex.
No, at that time in history, the Mongols were like, Genghis Khan is the baddest motherfucking dude to ever live. We're gonna invade everyone.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that's it. That's their motivation.
I what I mean is that, like, with the historical accuracy and the Japanophilia going on, one would expect that there's like, well, we're going to also have some super historical accuracy for the Mongolian army as well.
So that's the weirdest thing. I have learned more in this game about historical Mongolians than I have about Japan, because all the collectibles are about the Mongolians.
Okay, yeah. There you go. Yeah,
the collectibles are like, did you know that the Mongolians are actually a livestock-based society because they're primarily nomadic? So all of their drink and food are based off of milk and meat, like 99% of it. So their alcohol is a form of milk. And apparently it's fucking terrible, which is why they like sake so much.
Also, here's this weird, like, paste tofu thing that they ate for rations all the time. Also, they fucking loved horses. Holy shit, horses ruled. And, just kind of, okay. Good. All right, cool. That's what's up. But, like, they are unquestionably the superpower expanding hypervillains of the period of time, for sure.
Oh, totally.
I just mean in terms of like research and accuracy,
It's fun because back in the day, you could just write an invading force as just like, why are they invading? The reason why the Mongols invaded Japan is because they saw Japan on a map and they said, fuck those dudes, I want that.
Basically, yeah.
And that was that.
It's they started walking in every direction and went, hey, submit or die, And also the steppe was their home base, their turf advantage. Exactly. And if you were on it, like, yeah, you're done.
And then you have this moment where Jin's fighting Khan at the end, and he's like, I hope your bitch empire survives your death. And he's like, this empire will last forever. It will totally not crumble into dirt the instant this lineage dies.
The sun will never set on. It's nighttime. It's nighttime. It's gone. It's gone.
Fucking
shit.
Oops.
Yeah. Don't get so drunk, idiot. Yeah. Well, anyway, I need to take that fucking legendary armor off just because I can't stare at these cutscenes like this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It reminds me of a less ridiculous version of when you, like, the pre-order weapon is you get the starter gun with better stats and it's solid gold. And it's like
100%.
This looks terrible.
Remember when Overwatch was like, hey, your big reward for placing high in ranked is to get a gold weapon? And it's like, that looks horrible.
Gears of War was the one that always got me bad, where it's like the gun that came with like the super deluxe expensive was like a solid gold like Nasher shotgun. And it's like, I can't think of any game where the setting of having a solid gold gun was more out of place.
It
looks so terrible and tacky.
Like, yeah. I mean, whatchamacallit, Apex has like a fuck ton of skins for each weapon. So at the very least, you have like a million alternatives, including some wacky ass like, hey, look, it's a Game Boy shotgun or whatever. But
cool.
But like, yeah, just this like, oh, look, it's all shiny gold. Like, I'm like, fuck, I hate that in everything. Looks terrible. Anyway. Oh yeah, did you hear Apex is gonna be multi God, what's the fucking
Crossplay?
Crossplay.
With what?
Everything.
Cool.
They're
gonna add solo mode?
They're that's not the scope. That's not
Don't care.
That wasn't the move. But yeah, they're doing it following in the footsteps of Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's
cool.
good for them, I guess.
I want a fully crossplay world to become super normalized. I want this to be
Dead by Daylight's going to be the next one that we talk about in a couple months. They're going to try and link everybody together.
All of these companies talking to each other and having more and more examples of like people connecting to the same servers is fucking excellent for video games. It's really good news. Like, think about just how many times like a dead game with ports all over the place doesn't have to be dead if you just consolidate it, you know? Anyway,
I'm just thinking of all the games that could have had crossplay in the past and didn't for various reasons. I remember the fucked up, terrible version of Team Fortress 2 360 players got because of the cost for certification back on the 360. And those patches were always just months behind until that version just died.
Fucking
Bummer, man.
Titanfall.
What's that? Hey, you know what had a solo mode? Titanfall.
So TF2 and TF2? Yeah. Although, to be fair, mouse and keyboard versus controller
is hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. I love it. I love it every game that it's in. It's the best.
But yes, that was, I didn't really do much else. Or rather, I did much else, but worked on projects that will be ready soon.
Secrets.
Yeah. Two huge things that I'm busy with, to be honest, and I'm actually going to have to take like some scheduled days off to work on these projects. It's big stuff, but I got I'm gonna need some time. So I hope everybody understands in the near future. I've had to clear a couple Saturdays, and I might need to do some more because my focus and attention is required. So, but in the meantime, if you would like, you can hop on over to Wooly Versus. You could peep what's going on. Mario continues. 1,000 Year Door is getting spoopy.
Let me ask you a question about your schedule. I noticed that when you put up the YouTube video for Tsushima, that you're labeling them as parts. Are you doing the whole thing?
Yes.
That seemed reticent.
So what happened was I basically planned to do it in the future. I was going to bring it in at some point when it would have best fit the schedule. Mm-hmm. But then
you got sent the code.
I got sent a copy, and they said, "Hey, take a look at it." And I went, "I guess we're pulling the trigger." And then since we pulled the trigger, I guess we're just rolling with it. So I was kind of, pushed to start it sooner than I expected. But yeah, that's essentially what we're going to be doing. It's
okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, the schedule is heavily focused on 1,000 Year Door. Halo games are fast and short, so very easy to burn through. Thankfully, that's not that much of a problem. But those were the focuses, and then other projects. But now with Tsushima on the schedule, I pretty much am gonna be rolling through it.
I will tell you what. That game has an incredibly clear distinction between main content and side content.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe less
Mm-hmm.
than 5% of the game is main content.
Oh my god. I was planning to do almost all. I was planning to do side content the fuck off screen, and mainline it on screen.
I have done 5 main missions total in all the time that I played it. Like people who watched the stream that I did, like I found a mythical bow quest that took me like an hour and 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It probably wasn't that long, but it felt like it took forever.
Well, I'll say this: the way Death Stranding went, I would have much preferred a tighter experience recording wise, and I played a fuck ton of Death Stranding off screen.
Yeah, you had to. That game requires it.
I did so much off screen, but there was still even more off screen that I would have probably have liked in a way. In the end, it was fun. It was great, and overall, people had fun. I had fun. It was but there was a massive momentum lull that kind of didn't really need to happen, I think. So I'm gonna learn from those lessons with Tsushima.
I'll tell you right now, the quests with the characters that like there's a really clear hierarchy. A hierarchy, not hierarchy. What the fuck, Pat? There's gold quests, right? And then there's quests with Ishikawa and Masakado and Yuna and the characters that you run into.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like your mythic tales, which are your super weapons or super techniques, which are very in depth. And then there are the other side quests, which are like, this guy says he's a samurai. Is he really? No. Fight him. And like it's like, so like white diamond quests on the map that don't have a character's head on them are nothing in terms of like content wise.
Good.
They barely even reward you with anything.
Good to know.
They're just stuff to do.
So as long as every time I pop it in, I'm hitting the gold diamond quests.
Yeah, and or quests with people's heads on them.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
That's a good rule of thumb. So yeah, that's continuing.
By the way, reminder that Horizon comes out in a couple weeks on PC, which is the other game that is basically Ghost of Tsushima, but with a bow instead of a samurai sword.
Mm-hmm.
And robots instead of Mongols.
I'm interested in like the setting of Horizon, but like it's not a burning thing to me. You know what I mean? Like, But yeah, so my 1,000 Year Door is going. Shit's going great. There was a fucking pump fake and a half in the last session we played, and man, like, this game is just firing on all cylinders, and it's such a good time. I can't believe
I saw that Yoshi.
Yeah, I can't believe how good this thing is getting, and Origami King is out, and from what I can tell, people are
fuck that game.
Pretty out to lunch on it.
Fuck that game.
Sounds like it's nowhere near as bad as like the Sticker Star problem. But
it's not quite as bad, but
the
storyline has a direct thumb in your eye.
The personality had to be extracted due to, like Nintendo being like, please extract the personality from this game. No new characters, please.
Did you see the people playing Origami King like found out that there's stuff in that game that is like directly making fun of everybody who was be like, can you please make the games good again?
Are you serious? No.
Yeah, I'm gonna type it to you in Discord. It is a spoiler for the final boss of Origami King. I don't know if you care. Do you care?
Sure. Tell me. Here. That seems a little bit wacky for them to do. Please don't pull a reboot, the Guardian Code. That's not nice. That's hilarious. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's fucking incredible. Okay, yeah, that's really incredible. Okay, cool.
But also, it's like, oh man, it's never going back ever.
So the thing with this is no. We're not gonna do that.
No, we're not gonna do that. You can look it up.
That'd be you can look that up. For the interview that came out for it though, they pretty much sat down and went like, yeah, Nintendo says no more new characters in
ever
the Mario world. Like, you can make new characters that don't fit, but you can't make characters that like look like they come from the world, right? So now you got to fight staplers and pencil crayons and fucking pencil cases, because they're just not gonna really let you make a Grubba, or a Goombella, or like any of these characters.
Who needs Goombella when you have a realistic 3D pair of scissors?
Yeah.
Wow, what a character! Scissors!
A franchise subjected to extreme cowardice is really, it's a sad state of affairs. But you also, there's parts where the reason why I'm enjoying Thousand Year Door so much is because it goes shockingly far for a Mario game. Shockingly far. It weirdly gets away with things that you're like, they should not have gotten away with that at all.
Well,
so
they didn't.
They didn't, exactly. And I think if you can let them be creative and have fun with this world, but just step in wherever you think it's going too far, Nintendo. But the fact that like instead it had to turn to this is like, man, I'm being hit with the like now you know what it feels like to be a fan of this thing is suffering. But it's like I'm midway through this one game, I'm not even anywhere close to where others are.
The Paper Mario thing is like the perfect picture of my personal biggest problem with Nintendo games. Nintendo games are all incredible, high-quality games that are essentially the popular one of that series being remade over and over and over and over and over again. Like, Zelda games for a long, long time were just the same game as Ocarina again and again and again and again until Breath of the Wild. The new Super Mario Brothers series is just level packs over and over and over.
It feels weird to have a Nintendo is too kiddie discussion in current year.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
SMT5 is coming out on the Switch.
Well, I'm like, take me back to
for
my fucking elementary school years where we're fighting over this shit, and then Nintendo like aggressively goes the other way with it, but when they hit the sixth generation by bringing in like as many mature games as possible and clearly being like, nah, we can be up there with the others too, and we can have things that are rated M. No problem, fuck off, but anything with our name on it, it should still sort of be, in the clear, and tone at best will be what is mature. But yeah, in the case of like their flagship franchise, I'm gonna say that word way too much. In the case
we should have had a fucking flashback where we find out that Link got Mipha pregnant with some kind of horrible fish homunculus, and they had to bury it in the backyard because it was a fucking abomination unto the Lord.
I think that as much as Nintendo loosens up with their like kid-friendly, aggressive philosophy, which I forgot the guy that was in charge of that, but there was a dude, the dude that was in charge of that working at Nintendo during the 90s, like is known as, oh yeah, this guy is the reason for the aggressive, kid-friendly, push. Like Mario, the mascot, and his world and his games still have to be protected by them. So they're gonna not take risks. It's too important to take risks. They don't. It's not Sonic. They're not gonna fucking go balls out with it.
I don't know. Sonic could have taken some risks.
He makes out with a human.
Sonic could have gone some places.
He makes out with a human. They took risks.
I would buy a Sonic game so bad that was a sequel to Sonic 06, and it was Sonic and Elise's son, Sanic. And he's all flesh colored. And he doesn't have hedgehog spikes, it's just flesh.
Yeah. I just it really is. It's the same.
The flesh hog.
The
Sanic
feeling.
The flesh hog. That's it.
The feeling of how like Sonic Boom had some like meta jokes that everyone thoroughly enjoyed.
It had a lot.
Yeah, because you're like, let people take control of this thing that are huge fans of it, that are right here with everyone else that's been watching it for years now. Let the people writing the thing be on the same page as the fans that enjoy it, and it's such a obvious positive place to go with things, and the results clearly show. But if they can just get over that fear, in the end they would have a second franchise that people are overwhelmingly in love with. If Thousand Year Door as a template continued for the rest of that, and I hear from what I hear, Paper Mario 64 and Super as well, if it continued in that direction, we would have such an amazing refined thing at this point, but the risk is not worth it to the brand.
I could just see the fucking Paper Mario Thousand Year Door 2 continues the irreverent direction of the first game. Jump on a homeless Goomba. Oh no, Mario, you've got stuck with a syringe. Hope you don't get sick.
Dude, there are side quests where you have to go to the little mom and pop shop that you've been buying your items from, and scout the prices out for a skeezy fucking dude, a skeezy Dugan, hanging out on the west side of town or the east side of town, and you've got to tell him the prices so that he can consider how to open up across the street from them and run them out of business.
Good. Excellent.
And he actually acts skeezy and has a bunch of ellipses in his dialogue, and you're actually
he's got a Smash cart and a GameCube controller in his pocket.
There is a no hyperbole mission where someone hands you a package, says don't look in it, go give it to the Goomba in the alleyway.
Yeah.
Swear to God.
Yeah.
Don't look it. Just hand the package over to the Goomba in the alleyway and come back over here.
Don't look it.
So,
just don't look it.
Anyway. Yeah, that's great. That continues. Shit's popping.
That game sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm. Halo also popping. And Halo features a trope that I did not expect, and boy am I a fan of it. At least the point that I got to, in that there's, because you got your Deus Ex Machina.
You
right?
sure do.
That'll every once in a while pop in and do what they did in the old plays, but the one that steps in and is not talking to the audience, but is talking to the characters and goes, everybody shut the fuck up. Shut up. The just talk thing? Yeah. Okay, well, time for that to happen. I am going to force you all to see reason. Shut the fuck up. I'm a huge fan of that energy. And that kicked in really hard in Halo.
Comes from a really weird place too.
Yeah, it does.
Comes from a very bizarre place to go.
Bizarre
just
source.
talk, seriously.
Bizarre source. But like, I'm a big fan of Just Talk. A lot of things are not a fan of Just Talk. A lot of things don't do the Just Talk. But every once in a while, when an ancient one arises and says, "You're going to fucking talk,"
chill, bro.
I'm like, yes, please, more of this. Very, very pleased with that turn of events. Halo 2, great. Followed immediately by like just a like hard cut to like insane level of escalation of plot. So I don't even know, but like we're on the home stretch in that. I think we've got about 2 or 3 missions left. That'll be wrapping up as well. Yeah, over on Wooly Versus.
Trying to think, I didn't do all that much else with my week, game wise or anything like that. Played more Deadly Premonition 2. That game is yeah. Yeah. I also tried the Death Stranding PC port, which is really, really, really high quality.
Settings?
Extremely high quality port. Runs really well, which is great.
How are the settings?
Very in depth, and it has a setting I've never seen on a PC game ever, and I wish more PC games would have it. So you go into graphics, and you know your highest graphics is very high, then high, and then instead of medium, the settings are labeled as default.
Oh.
And my assumption is that when you play the game on default settings, those are the same settings that the PS4 were keyed into. Which, like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that instant barometer of exactly where it is.
Yeah. Which you can do because this comes after the fact.
Yeah. It's great.
Cool.
That's pretty much it for me. If you want to check out more Deadly Premonition, I'll be doing that this week over at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. Gonna be doing two sponsored streams this week because Devolver's cool. We're gonna be doing Blightbound on Wednesday. I'm gonna be doing that with Peach and Plague, and then we're gonna be doing Carrion on Thursday, which that comes out. Dude, Carrion looks so good. I played the demo last week, right after the podcast.
Looks really
It's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yep. Eat the things. Be the monster.
Just bite him. Eat him.
Excuse me. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So let's take a
Good old Carry-On.
take a quick word from our sponsors.
Let's do that.
This week, Castle Super Beast is sponsored by Honey.
Hey, honey.
Honey
I'm
being
a little short on cash this week. Could you help me out?
They sure can. As previously discussed, Honey is for a shopping online. We've seen the we've all seen the promo code field taunting us at checkout. I like the way that's phrased. It's quite clear that every time you go through, you add to cart, then you go to checkout, you put your settings on, and then you see a little box right here, which is like, hey, if you knew what to type into me, you would save some money. Do you know what to type?
But I don't know what to type. I don't know what
well,
to type.
then fucking perish.
Oh.
Or just buy the thing and it'll hurt you more. You know?
Oh.
You don't know what to put. You don't know the codes. There are cheat codes to save money that you all
I don't want to perish.
Is put it in the cheat code box, but you got to know what to put. Well, fortunately, you don't have to remain in the dark because Honey is available to find all the coupons and apply the best ones to whatever you're about to buy on over 30,000 stores online, ranging from all sorts of gaming stuff. They've got tech sites, fashion brands, food delivery. Like 30,000, chances are a lot of the places you want to get stuff from are going to be there. And basically there's a drop down button. You click the apply coupon button, wait a few seconds, and it will find all the coupons it can for that site and apply them to whatever you're about to buy. So you save money instantly. Just like that, you are no longer being taunted and teased with the empty coupon code box. So, just like that, it's a quick installation. You can drop on. Sorry, I got a little lost in the weeds there. There we go. It's you can quickly grab it. Basically, it looks like right now 17 million members have saved over $2 billion.
That's more than like 150 people. Much
crazy.
More.
That's crazy. That's a wild. That's more than every Pokemon. Look at that.
Oh my god. Significantly more.
So, if you don't already have Honey, you're straight up missing out on free savings. Literally free, installs in a few seconds, and by getting it, you're doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Get Honey free at joinhoney.com/superbeast. That's joinhoney.com/superbeast. Thanks, Honey.
Thank you, Honey.
Support for this podcast is also brought to you by DoorDash.
Hey, DoorDash, what up? I'm hungry.
They are named for their ability to dash to your door. I would like to imagine...
Which is kind of a misnomer because they do use cars and bikes.
True, but I would like to imagine they use a Mega Man X style dash jump. I would like to imagine sometimes they do a K-Dash style blackout. Maybe even a Bleach Flash step.
Are you the kind of asshole that's like, I'll give you a $5 extra tip if you Mega Man dash in front of my door for me and then draw a wizard on the box?
If you FADC through the door, you're getting a big tip.
It's terrible.
Ding dong.
Why would you do that?
Actually, no. I don't want you to FADC through the door. I want you to FADC
I don't want you in my house ever.
backwards.
Which is why DoorDash allows them to just drop that shit at your door and run away.
Exactly. Right? Ding dong, cancel into delivery drop, cancel into backdash, and they're out.
It's really funny because I've had food delivered to me a couple times in the past few weeks, and there's two types of delivery people now. There's the guy who is gloves, mask, waits for you to appear at the door, waves, thumbs up, away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then there's doorbell, ring, get to the door. Where did they even go?
Already gone. Mm-hmm.
Like they must have run up, dropped it, and ran away.
Both are acceptable to me.
I can respect that.
I understand it. Personally, I'm a fan of opening the door and seeing the Nightcrawler gas slowly fading away. I'm a fan of the
gas.
Bamf, the post-Bamf. It's like, yep, already out. I like that. I like that type. I'm good with that. I'm good with the Yamato warp cross, like slowly vanishing as my dinner is ready and waiting. So, yeah, all things considered, you want to get your food brought to you anywhere you are. You want to get it from all your favorite restaurants. Well, DoorDash has got over 300,000 partners in the US, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Australia, with all your local go-tos, all your favorite national chains, and just about like, you know, the best places that you could be craving at any given moment. And there are, of course, contactless deliveries, so you can keep safe with a drop-off immediately at your front door. So right now, our listeners can get $5 off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code CASTLE. That's $5 off and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code CASTLE. Don't forget, that's code CASTLE for $5 off your first order with DoorDash. Thanks, DoorDash.
Thank you, DoorDash.
Brackout.
Hey, well, do you mind if we take a break? I'm going to use the washroom.
Can we do so after our last sponsor?
Oh, my goodness. We have a third sponsor.
We do.
Who is our third sponsor today?
This week, we are sponsored by Raycon.
Hey, Raycon.
You know what's going on with Raycon. They're the earbuds that keep going on and on. And,
Listen. There's never been a better time to try to ignore the presence of human beings outside.
I'll tell you what. Some buds that can follow you, that'll stay charged, last long, good quality, and that you can absolutely get the outside noise isolated fit in your ear to cut out that outside world. Now is the best time. Better than ever.
Now that we're all isolating everything, why not also isolate noise?
Exactly. The newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds. Best ones yet. 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, compact design, and the noise isolating fit.
Get out of here, noise. I don't want to hear you.
So just in case you're not aware, the Raycons are the wireless earbuds that are they're comfortable. They're perfect for conference calls, binging podcasts, whatever you want to do. But most importantly, they are about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound just as amazing. So you don't have to break the bank to get some wireless earbuds. And of course, I've mentioned already that just about every day, most nights, I can tell you that Punch Mom is using them, taking calls, listening to podcasts, going to sleep, and playing whatever sounds of, rain and comforting sleeping sounds.
Whatever dumb bullshit she listens to.
Whatever it is, it's comfortable enough for her to fall asleep to them, fit into the ear. So,
and let me ask you a question. Does she like listen to that stuff when she's actually going to bed, or is that a pre-sleep thing?
While going to bed.
Okay, so how often is it on a not like the weekly basis, right? But where you're in bed, you're like, getting ready to sleep. Good. Getting sleepy. And out of the phone comes full ass volume bullshit because oops, forgot to sync it to forgot to turn the headphones on. Oops.
Never.
Oh, that sounds super nice.
Has not occurred.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That you would not be woken from your pre-sleep.
Nope. Doesn't happen. These Raycons don't do that. So, and hey, I am told that I used to have a very bad snoring problem, but I believe I believe that is a thing of the past. I believe that is a thing of the past. As far as
you go ask Punch Mom if it's a thing of the past.
Yeah, I'll get the update on that.
You legit have the worst snore I have ever heard in my life. You sound like you are about to die.
It's gotten better.
So now you only sound like you are close to death?
Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/superbeast. That's buyraycon.com/superbeast for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/superbeast. Thanks,
you,
Raycon. Okay.
I bet your
Bathroom
snoring
break.
sounds better because she got them fucking Raycon earbuds in her ears.
Tell you
Noise
what.
isolating that shit.
Yeah. Probably.
You got to get a sleep robot. You're gonna die.
I checked it. Go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
All right.
All right. I'll see y'all in a bit.
BRB.
How do I pause this?
You click the buttons.
I was in the wrong Discord chat. That's why. Thanks for that.
Okay. So, we already jumped right into Digital Devil News.
Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you a question. What is the opposite of hatred? Is it love or is it indifference?
The opposite of hatred is love. The opposite of passion is indifference.
There you go. I disagree. I'd say indifference on both, but I get what you mean on that. So the reason I bring this up is that I have been doing something for the past couple weeks that has been creating a very big amusement in me. And it came to a head during just now, actually, at the beginning of the podcast with foliage. And earlier, when I was playing Tsushima, where I kept referring to the samurai sword as the katana and fighting anyone who would correct me. And when people are like, "Oh my God, Pat, God damn it, no. It's pronounced foliage, you idiot," gives me power. It gives, it's just so, But if you were like, whatever, I would see that my power is diminished and foliage may stop. But it's too late now, dumbasses. It's too late. It is pronounced katana. That's all I have to say. Why do I say this? I got a lot of DMs at the beginning of this podcast. I got like 3 people DMing me going, "God damn it, Pat, it's pronounced foliage." I'm like, no.
Cool story,
Foliage.
bro. Anyway, the Nintendo Direct had some other things that they announced, and I would say, besides the obvious Shin Megami stuff being worth talking about,
There's some wrestling bullshit in there.
There was the new WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which is more or less the modern day All-Stars, so it seems.
Fight alligators,
stage hazards, all that shit. And I talked about, Cadence of Hyrule, new characters, looks really cool. Playable.
Way more songs, which is much more important.
Tons more songs. Playable Skull Kid, playable Impa, Dark Link. And like characters, and if you played Crypt of the Necrodancer, like characters make a huge difference. Like play styles are very, very largely. You okay?
I'm good.
Windpipe?
Yep.
Coke in the windpipe?
Yep.
That's happened. That's happened. Not a ton of times.
I'm fine, Paige. I'm just choking.
But it's happened more than twice, and that's kind of weird. How do you swallow things?
I choked on the Coke. It's fine. Relax. How do I swallow things? Is the question?
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. How do I put them in my mouth, and then I swallow. But if I think of something to say,
you
fast,
start to talk.
I just start to talk, and then I have to inhale to talk, and then the inhale happens with the liquid, and then death.
You don't wait until you're finished swallowing to start talking.
What? How do I scare you? I choke on things all day, every day.
Yeah, I know.
Don't make the dick face. Don't. Come on. You don't need to do that. No, I got my soda. Thank you. Anyway, point being,
you got really, really red there, so all right.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I always do. My mom has the same problem, and it drove my poor dad crazy because there'd be this time where he's like, "Oh, this is a great dinner, Mom. Oh, it's great," and we would both inhale our foods at the same time and start choking and dying, and my dad would be, "God damn it, which one do I kill?"
Is it Sophie's Choice or is it the Good Son?
It's the good son.
Yeah, all right.
Which one do I shoot?
Yeah. So
drinking and talking is very difficult.
Yeah, which is why you should only do one at a time.
But it's fast. Go.
I'm thirsty. I'll have a sip.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Thought of
what
a
if
thing
you had to say something right now?
Yeah. I held it.
No, you can't. If you hold a thought for more than 2 seconds, it's no longer important.
Then die, I guess. If what you're saying is not worth dying for, then why even say it, right?
Basically, yeah.
Totally. I was going to point out that there were some games that were announced on the Japanese Nintendo Direct that did not come over to the American one, or the English one, I should say. In some cases, probably just because of like, hey, that's not fully announced yet. But in other cases, it was announced, and it's a little bit weird. But anyway, 2 games in particular. One, Atelier Ryza 2. Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy has been announced for the Switch. And it was in the Japanese one. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know much about the Atelier series. I know there was Atelier Iris, and there's a whole bunch of them. And what I do know is they're RPGs, and the best I can tell is their Atelier girl name, Alchemist of the thing. Is the best I can kind of make out of most of these things. But
okay, so it's Atelier girl name, I think. Like
Atelier girl name, Alchemist of word thing.
Yeah, and then they go in trilogies.
Goes back pretty far. It's probably some fucking 15, 20 of them, maybe. I don't know. But
they've been around a bit.
But
they've been around a bit.
Yeah, the latest one is
if I remember correctly, Ryza. I asked Clemps, hey, isn't that little girl game for weebs about potions? And he was like, yes. You have successfully summed up that series.
Yeah.
That's what that game is.
So, this one is Ryza 2, which, you know, I didn't know there was a first one, but hey.
There was.
Nice model.
A big old video review on it.
Pretty world. She's mixing the potions. She's doing the thing. And then
the main character saw a different... If I remember correctly, the plot of the first game is that your plucky character is like do, and then gets attacked by a monster, and somebody throws a grenade at it, and it blows up, and they go, how'd you make that incredible thing? And they went, alchemy, and they're like, alchemy's the shit, I want to make bombs.
In conclusion, thighs.
In conclusion, I just looked up the title art for this game, and I now understand why you're all going thighs. Har, har, har.
They are present. Indeed. And the other one, which was omitted, is... so the localized title is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
That's the localized title?
That's the localized title. I want to say, what was it called in? Well, anyway, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be called. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, and it pretty cool looking. Side scrolling combat platformer. Seeing, lots of grappling hooking, juggles, dashes, slashes, attacks, a little bit of that, 2D Muramasa kind of energy or dishwasher, all that stuff, like fast-paced. And at some point it cuts to like gardening. But
of course.
It seems pretty interesting. Like actually looks like a fucking video game, man. I don't know what to say. But give it a peep at least. Check out the trailer. See what you think. But this is something that Xseed on their Twitter announced is coming. November 10th.
I'm seeing a different name for this.
Yeah. The Japanese title was Sakuna Hime Rice is Power.
All right.
And
because I'm seeing an English title that's Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy.
Wait, you're talking about Atelier?
Yeah, Atelier Ryza 2, Lost
moved-
Legends, and the Secret Fairy.
I started talking about a different game.
Oh, okay. I was looking up the foot. Oh my god.
We've started talking about a different game.
I wanted to look at the game you were talking about and didn't hear the new name. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, or Sakuna Hime, Rice is Power, is the name of the game I'm currently discussing.
Oh Christ! I never heard the jump from that to. Sakuna Hime.
The thighs are there. Don't worry. You can catch the thighs in Atelier Thyrus later. Or Thysa,
I literally heard. My brain literally combined you saying Atelier, and then the subtitle for that game is Of Rice and Ruin. I'm losing it. Well, now what you were saying makes way more fucking sense.
Yes. What I said was, and the
It looks
other
like
game,
Muramasa.
the other game that did not show up on the English Direct that was on the Japanese Direct is Sakuna, aka Sakuna Hime, etc. And it is a side-scrolling thing that is Muramasa-esque and Dishwasher-esque and, you know, all those games, whatever you want to call them.
There's gardening. Yeah, there it is.
And there's a little bit of gardening going on in it. Yeah. So you can check that out. Looks all right. Looks like a video game. And that's going to drop on Switch as well on November 10th. In English, mind you. So again, I don't know why they would just like not show these games in the American.
There wasn't enough time in the direct. They had a real hard limit on 8 minutes. Couldn't go any longer.
Well, I mean, if I feel bad for Xseed, where it's like, yo, we've got a product we're putting out on your console in a couple months. Could you help us out? You know?
No.
Well, if it's too much weeb energy, yeah, probably. But Shin Megami Tensei
dilute
is
it
not.
with some wrestling.
Shin Megami Tensei is not enough weeb energy, but these two are way over the top.
It's big eyeliner energy more than weeb energy.
So yeah, that looks interesting. Something else pops up as well, and this is actually got an available demo for it. Cris Tales, Cris Tales. Take a look at this thing.
Cris.
Art style.
Sounds familiar.
Art style is fucking clean. Super cool looking. Game coming to PS4, Xbox, Switch, PC, Steam, GOG, Stadia, everything.
I remember seeing
gorgeous.
this and putting it down. Apparently, yeah, that demo had been out for a while. I was informed by people when I asked about it that this thing apparently sucks.
Oh, does it?
Like I was like, should I play this on stream? And got like a unanimous like, no, it's bad from my chat when I mentioned it.
Huh. Well, I want to play the demo and find out for myself because the art is beautiful. It looks so fucking like, you know. I mean, I just on that merit alone, it's worth investigating for sure.
Apparently, the old demo was bad. The new demo is good.
All right. Well, you know, shout outs to one guy.
It was definitely a lot more than one guy.
Well, you can use the one guy emote 5 times in a row. There you go.
Oh, is that how that works? 5 one guys?
Then that's how you do it. Yep. Had some nice strong ones on 1,000 Year Door. 88 guys.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. But anyway, the actual the actual release date for Cris Tales, if I'm not mistaken. So it says, demo available now, and it should be launching. July 21st. Well,
Is
then.
that not tomorrow?
No. Hold on, that's incorrect. November 17th. Thank you. November 17th.
Those are very different.
Demo out for Switch tomorrow.
Okay.
Full game November 17th as well. So yeah, fucking just peep what the art's doing there. And see what's up. There was that Rogue Company thing, which I saw a man in a mask rolling. He shot some guns. It's just a third-person shooter. Didn't really know what to make of it, you know?
Oh, this is the game I just
Watchdoggy.
skimmed right past.
Watchdoggy vibe.
Just scrolled right past it.
Like, gun was there, shot the shot.
Man.
Big ol' watchdog mask.
So glad I could just skip that part of the direct. Holy shit.
Devil's Third, yeah. Big Devil's Third energy.
No. This is Brink energy.
Okay, that's acceptable too. That's a good one too.
Fuck.
Nothing to say. But there it is.
Oh, that's gonna be trash.
I like how we're all just like, man, look at this Japanese shit, look at that Japanese shit, and here's a Western gun game. Fuck that shit, get out of here. No, back to this Japanese shit though.
Hey, man.
Can't wait to end this podcast and go pretend to be a samurai.
Listen, all right?
Just own it. Own it.
I like to think that there's a single determining factor that you could look to on almost any reveal of a game in terms of my taste. And that is the level of cynicism that you can feel coming off of the trailer. I look at... God, I closed the tab and I can't remember the name of the game. Rogue Company?
Rogue... Not Squadron. Shit. Hold on. I can figure this out without clicking my mouse.
Yeah, don't look at it.
Rogue. I'm not even gonna. No, I'm not even gonna. Fuck. Not battalion. No. Oh my God, Rogue something. Holy shit, it's gone.
It was Rogue Company. It was Rogue Company. So I actually said it and couldn't remember if that was the real one.
Okay, Company. Okay, all right.
Okay, all right. So this is
that's what it was.
Cash-in game. Yeah. I would like to call games that now. Cash-in games? Who makes this? Who's making Rogue Company? Who makes that? Rogue? What's the fucking publisher?
Dude, I mean, it was a trailer in the middle of the direct. It wasn't isolated, so like
Hi-Res Studios. Who the fuck? Who are they? Who do they make games for? Oh, they're the Tribes people and the Paladins people. Well, there you go.
Smite. Smite.
Let's get Smite onto the consoles, but the Rogue this is gonna crash and burn. I'm looking at that. So there's a guy named Glitch with the robot face.
What was the Ubi battle royale we talked about?
Literally can't remember the name of it.
Literally
don't remember.
Hyperspace.
Hyperzone. Sure. Ubisoft battle royale.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Hyperscape. Okay. Oh man, it might as well be fucking Hyperzone.
I'm going to now title both of these and anything like this almost Watch Dogs energy. You know, it's that that like you're gonna have your smiley face projector mask kind of vibe. But that thing is cool though, because I liked it in Ruiner. I liked it in Astral Chain. You know, that thing's rad.
So yeah, let's talk about weeb energy, because I'm looking at Sakuna, Hime of Rice of Power, whatever. And despite the fact that I can't remember the game's title and was apparently barely paying attention when you were talking about it.
Yep.
I look at a single screenshot of this game and I go, "Oh, people cared. People who were making this game cared. They're making something that they're proud of."
Yeah. Combat looked good, and then you're doing some planting.
And then you look at Hyperscape.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at this and I go, "Oh, cool! They're making something. Somebody who's about to get fired for being a sex rapist told them to make."
Actually,
cool.
I'm not mistaken, but when you go back to Thyza, and it's like
Atelier Ryza. That's right.
I haven't played any Atelier girl name Alchemist of the Thing games, but I can say that the quality of this model is very high, and even though she spends about half of the trailer winking and putting up the victory fingers, it's like that's a high quality character model running around a world and doing the thing, you know. So someone does care. You're correct.
Yeah, you can always tell when someone cares. You can always tell. And I want to say that, like, my ability to care is directly tied to how much anyone making it cared. It has nothing to do with weebness.
Are there any games that you like, but you can tell that the person making it didn't care?
No. Actually. I don't like Street Fighter V that much, guys. No, I really can't. Because there's a difference between they might not have cared and you're sure they didn't.
Marvel 3 is good combat. Marvel Infinite is good combat despite itself. Yeah. It's a good system despite itself.
But like many people involved with that game did not care. Many people who had the power to change things did not care. Yeah, I feel like sincerity of development can be like a fucking criteria in reviews.
Yeah, if the people if the people like are clocking in and clocking out, then it's going to show. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel the lack of soul.
You know what? I can blow this down to a microcosm. Remember when you were playing RE4 and you were like, "This is pretty good," and then you got the bolt action rifle and you reloaded it and you're like, "This game's a 10 out of 10," and you just knew, that the rest of the game was going to be A++.
Yeah, someone cared about that. Someone cared about that.
Yeah.
So, I'll take that. It's nice to know that people are starting to care about things like 4K 60 FPS optional performance mode in Spider-Man Miles Morales.
As opposed to what?
Locked not?
Like, as opposed
a hard
to
locked
what?
not that?
8K30? Like,
well, it's optional, so clearly there's going to be a trade-off of some kind. But 4K 60 is a is a thing that they're saying is in there. What I actually want this to be, you know, a signpost for is graphic settings coming to consoles. Honestly,
I just want the ability to prioritize frame rate. When you
that's
play
pretty much
Ghost
what
of
I mean.
Tsushima, and you have the ability to, I have a Pro, so you prioritize resolution or frame rate. If you prioritize frame rate, the frame rate never dips ever.
Yeah,
And I'm like, great.
like when I we should, like, consoles don't need to have the level of optimization that rather the level of customization that you see on PC settings, because everyone's variable setups can change and they can optimize it for you. But when it comes to frame rate, that should absolutely be something you can choose between a variable high or hard locked if preferred.
Just
you know,
frame rate
setting.
go up, please.
I think Neo
Anything.
threw in
Neo has one.
a performance or
It also has a special effects mode, which no one
stability.
uses.
What's that?
It's not frame rate or resolution. It's like it turns shadows and all that shit to the maximum.
Okay. Yeah. Just absolutely, if you know the game running at its best is going to chug at points, then create some options for people on consoles as well to actually improve that performance should they like to, you know? I think that's a
Please do.
There's nothing wrong with that, and it might mean that people seeing your game will see it looking differently, but we're already in that world on PC anyway, you know?
Can I just please get a 10? Just drop the frame rate all the way from 4K to 1080. I don't care.
So when
just make it run good, please, God.
And if this were already standard, then when you get things like Switch ports of things where the frame rate is just like, we don't give a fuck, you know, like Sam Show or some shit where you're just like, yeah, not a single shit was given when they dropped it on the Switch.
Is the Sam Show port on Switch fucky?
I mean, they're like, it wasn't as bad as, like, was it Jump Force? I think it was, or one of those other games. But boy, do you see the chug, and like, just have those options in there so that you can address those problems. You know, give choices, give options.
Oh, I see the chug. That's not good.
Jump Force was like an actual...
Oh, fuck Jump Force. Fuck Jump Force to hell.
The trailer for the game was unapologetically running at like 10.
Hey, man. I've yet to be proven wrong on this. When footage gets shown off and the footage is running at a bad frame rate, that is a bad sign. That is a bad fucking sign. Because that is the best they could get it to look for the trailer.
Based on their deadlines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you couldn't even doctor up some good running footage. People are pointing out, what about Resident Evil 8? Yeah, the fact that original fucking trailer had a bad frame rate means that I bet that the fucking... Does that game even have a fucking last-gen version? I bet that version, if it exists, it's exclusive to next-gen. Okay. I bet it was cross-platform at some point. And then they were like, fuck. This runs like shit.
A lot of the time it just depends on how early they got their dev kits. Having been around for at least 3 or 4 of them, of like pre-launch development for a game, it usually comes in way later than you'd hope, but they get like white papers early, you know? They get guidelines, they get specifications, and they get told to basically start building your assets and, think about doing it this way, start doing it this way, start planning around this and that. But like the actual hardware arrives pretty late in some instances, or at the very least, you only get like one or some shit like that, so but yeah, that's what Miles Morales is doing, and
he's running better than Peter.
Finally, we got a really confusing story that I don't know what's going on here, but it seems that Twitch has challenged DSP the Immortal
to an immortal off,
and he was banished, resurrected, and as of this morning, banished again. And I can't seem to find out why. But what I can tell, looking through at least the thread and then what he had to say about it, is that there's bullshit DMCA claims.
That's what I also was able to... is that somebody keeps false flagging his channel over and over.
And it's
then
actually
he gets
resulting
essentially auto banned, and then he talks to somebody,
and
then they unban him.
Exactly,
but that doesn't protect him from being auto banned again. I don't know.
Yeah, if that is in fact what's happening, then that's a very abusable and shitty thing that needs to be addressed. Obviously,
sucks
because that can happen to anyone at any time. So that needs to be fucking fixed. I certainly hope that they don't have a system that just literally auto bans you based on a claim threshold being hit, because that's super spoofable,
and dumb, and very dumb to do. I hope it works out for him.
Yeah, if that's in fact what's going on, then that's some horse shit, and that shouldn't be happening. So
yes, I hope it works out for him if in fact that is what is going on.
All right. Let's take some.
Oh, by the way, if you run out of news, I do have a piece of news for you.
What's up?
Blasphemous, the Metroidvania. Not part of the Switch thing for some reason, but they just announced their DLC is going to come out. It's called The Stir of Dawn. Here, I'm going to give you a link from GameSpot. And it's going to be like a level and boss expansion to Blasphemous, as well as New Game Plus and like some challenge modes and stuff like that.
Simultaneous drop?
Yeah, on pretty much everything. On August 4th. So it's soon.
Cool. Okay.
It's in 2 weeks, exactly.
What are they doing with the integration of that? Is it like go to a location in the game, or is it just like
it doesn't say? I bet it will be a fucking wall that used to be a wall is now a door.
What do you prefer when it comes to that? Because like Souls introduces a very clear walk to this location that was originally nothing, and a new zone will be there, right? And then there's, on the main menu, select New Dawn, and that is your extra DLC campaign. Do you have a preference?
Oh, I don't know. Whoa, this is actually weird. Apparently some of this is locked behind the New Game Plus mode.
Okay.
Like new bosses and new I
think
higher difficulty.
I don't mind a second item on the main menu where you just load your save in and play it there. Like, I'm okay with that.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that. That's my most hated.
Disintegrated? I don't mind disintegrated.
I want it integrated. I want it integrated very strongly. My personal favorite is probably the way Hollow Knight did it, in which it gets added, and if you got to it late, you would never know that that was the part that they added.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I want it just integrated.
Super
like, just,
integrated.
ugh!
Okay, so then there's your preference, right?
My second favorite would be like the new area is added on to the ass end of the game.
So
Like,
I mean,
post boss.
I like, depending on the way the game is set up, though. Like, another ideal is if it's a list of missions, then you just get more missions to select on that list. You know, if it's a bloody palace, then now a bloody palace is just slapped onto the list of modes you can play in. Yeah, I guess it just depends on whether the game is like narrative, open world driven, or whether it's not, or if it's not.
I tell you what, though, there is one thing that I absolutely hate about integrated DLCs, and it depends entirely on the dev's day one response, which is starting up the Artorias DLC on Dark Souls and going to GameFAQs, and the number one question being, how do I start this?
That's kind of
that is a stupid problem.
That's kind of what I was asking this for, is the idea of, one, there's always that moment, but the internet does solve that problem, admittedly. Now we live in an information world where you can learn quickly. And the other being like, I don't know. Let's say for some dumb reason, you played a game, you beat a game, and you no longer have your save, and then DLC comes out, and you want to play that.
How do I get to the DLC the fastest?
Yeah. You know? Can you just book it to that location, or do you have to play halfway through, or do you have to do New Game Plus? What are the requirements going to be? You know, and I think, again, it all depends. It all depends on how the DLC goes. But in a scenario where I played it and I don't know, like, it's a dumb hypothetical, admittedly, but like, if in some cases, I think you'd want to be able to get to the DLC faster if that's the main thing you're playing it again for and interested in, you know. But yeah, no hard feelings one way or the other, or not feelings, hard. If it works best for the style of game, then so be it. Fine. So
I'm interested in seeing this because I fucking love that game.
So yeah,
Blasphemous is incredible.
Sony put out a trailer for Gamer Girl, and then they deleted it. And Gamer Girl is a live action game that is made by, I believe, the people who made Late Shift, which is hilarious because basically that's a really weird, cringy sort of live action movie game, but it ended up being kind of like, you know, fun despite itself. And Gamer Girl is now the, you know, simp simulator. Watch a girl on Twitch, and then there's a dark
moderator
story.
Should I take this call from my ex-boyfriend?
And then, if I'm not mistaken, Sony then deleted it like seconds later. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, I think the company that made it asked them to take the trailer down.
Jeez. Okay.
That game's in poor fucking taste.
So, Late Shift was about a guy getting wrapped up in a big old crime scandal, and he's just a normal kid that, you know, is in over his head type of thing. And you're like, yeah, okay, it's some fucking straight to DVD movie, except it's interactable, you know. And of course, the biggest dumb thing about that being, when you make a choice, you're hard committed to it for the rest of the fucking movie.
Good.
So, but like, replaying that to see variations is was nightmarish. In this case, yeah, it just, like, I don't know if this was something they started like years ago and it's only ready now, but
like,
yeah.
There's the bit of the mini game was like, quick, ban people fast enough so that the Gamer Girl doesn't cry, and it's like, Jesus. But like it is feeding into like your moderators and the people you talk to often in Twitch chat are like a big part of your life. These are the types of people that you would turn to as to whether or not you should go explore a spooky haunted pirate ship or whatever the fuck is going on in the second half of that trailer. It looks like garbage.
Yeah, like again, going off of Late Shift, you have to realize that like this is kind of coming from a place where the creators are not the most tactful. You know, they're just kind of like David Cage throwing shit at the wall in a way. So it does not surprise me that it's from them. But it is like a weird ass step into.
So it's like the idea could be really cool.
A cringy vibe.
There's a game on Steam. I'm not sure if it's on anything else, but it's called fuck, I want to say it's called Not Fit for Broadcast. Is that the name of it?
Okay.
Not for Broadcast is the name of it. And Not for Broadcast is a game in which you are running a TV station. And you are like behind you're in the editing director's chair of like a news station, and you're like cutting to certain things and you're muting people in case they swear. And then there's a regime that's telling you to like silence people that are protesting against a certain thing. So you cut interviews short or stuff like that. And it's a really cool idea. And you could totally do a Twitch moderation version of that idea. You could totally be like, oh, this guy's spamming a bunch of robots, ban him, or this time him out, or just do like a Twitch version of Papers, Please.
I was about to say, like, Papers, Please is the proof of concept that you can do a fucking trite, rote job as a game and make it engaging and fun.
But this one's weird because it plays into like moderator as like confidant and close personal friend. It's like I am actually good close personal friends with some of my chat moderators, but that's because they were my friends first and then they became my moderators because I trusted them. But like it's playing into all the creepy parasocial parts.
I was about to say Parasocial Simulator, if you would, is the other part of it that you can go down that road to. Yeah. Not a great.
Can't wait to play it. Can't wait.
That's correct. But they pulled it for a reason.
That will probably. I'm not gonna tell you what's gonna happen on other people's channels, but like that seems much more up Paige's alley, considering she is the gamer girl that I know that would be the best equipped to tell people how for real that experience is.
The reception was definitely enough of a shock to them that they pulled it, and the positive thing about FMV based game development is all you gotta do is film something else. So who knows if it's even coming out?
Hold on. I'm seeing like cancellation articles.
Yeah. There you go.
That like
is it even coming out? Like they dropped it, everyone went, "What the fuck are you doing?" And they went, "Never mind." Totally.
That's
not surprised.
Do you want to hear? Oh, look what I was able to find. I was able to find the original text release of the game's announcement. Gamer Girl is about the impact user comments and actions have on a streamer's mental health and well-being. The reason why FMV Future created the game was to raise the issue of a toxic environment, which can often appear online behind the anonymity of a username. Without giving away too much, Gamer Girl is an empowering story of a female streamer who, with the help of her moderator friend, battles the trolls and overcomes the toxic characters in her stream.
Dear fucking God, I want it. I want it.
I want to play this so bad.
I need it. I need it so bad. I need it. I need it. I fucking need it in my veins, dude. I need it in my veins. Yeah. I tell me, like what you just read. Put that in a David Cage voice. Like, do you understand? It's the same kind of like level 1 of the discussion energy that vibes. You know, I want to broach a topic. I don't have I have the fucking mittens on to attempt to handle this very delicate thing, but what? I shouldn't do this? No, I'm going to go into this topic. I think
You know what it reminds me of?
It's just
Reminds
like
me of
tactless, dude.
I remember this is one of the most this is pre Best Friends. This is a long time. Wait, is it? Yeah, it was 2007, 2008. Long time ago. But it's one of the defining moments of game trailers slash representation that I can remember in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came to you, say, "Hey, Wooly, what's up?" You said, "Whatever." And I said, "Did you see that fucking Resident Evil 5 trailer?" And you went, "No, I don't really. I mean, whatever." And I'm like, "You got to take a look at this shit." And I fucking queued up the second RE5 trailer. The first one was just Cris in like sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one was the scary one.
Mm-hmm. The
and
one that
it
went
loaded
around,
in.
The one that went around.
It was the shot early on of the younger guy with no shirt who's really lanky, and he looks up towards the camera, and you went, "Oh no, not scary black people. They're the worst." And you turned to me with like a look of like in your face, and then you turn back to like Cris shooting the mob. And it was that moment that N-Guy Kroll later on game trailers pointed out correctly of like, this is a project that was shown to no one that could have been like, what the hell, dude? Right?
The trailer that did eventually have Cris shooting all the African zombies coming at him was shared many times on Facebook as the murder of Africa.avi, and literally went around all the rounds to like every parental group and every church group and everyone who might be horrified by what is clearly a big buff army white man opening fire on a crowd.
Just lighting up a crowd of crazed black people. Just, they're going to get him. They're going to eat him.
Wasn't it good? It wasn't a good.
Cole summed it up so perfectly, and he was like, if you had shown any part of this game to one black person once in like the 2.5 years it had already been in development, somebody would have gone, whoa! And I would expand that further. I bet there are people at Capcom USA that saw that were trying to tell people, going, guys, no, guys, guys, it looked bad.
And you know that the source of it is, let's take the Resident Evil franchise to a new, fresh setting. That like we did before. Yep. That's it.
So I was so into that, and I was so fascinated by that whole controversy that I resent Capcom for RE5, because I put myself in a place where I said, guys, I can tell you the exact train of thought they're going on. They used Spain for RE4. And what is the scary ethnic fear of Spaniards? It's the Inquisition. It's religious persecution. So what do? We make a cult. We make them like the Inquisition. We add a bunch of church theming, yada, yada, yada. That's their regional thing. So what they did is they went to Africa and went, okay, what's the scary ethnic thing behind Africa? And they go with the fucking Black Hawk Down looking shit and all that stuff.
Actual warlord guy.
So it's like, it's not that bad. It's kind of ignorant. And then I played the game. And then I got to mission like 7 or whatever, the marshlands. And then they're throwing spears at me.
The
and I'm
Maginis
like,
come
my
out.
God.
You
And
get
I'm
off.
like, oh my
you
God.
the color.
Oh my God, I defended this.
The
Oh my
color
God, I defended
turns.
this on the internet.
color turns from yellow into blue. You get off the boat at the dock. You walk in, and the village area divides into two. And then the mudmen rise up with their shields and spears, and they come at you. And yeah.
I was like, are you?
And so, they just buried it a little bit further in the game.
So I had a fun moment where Paige and I played through RE5, and she didn't know anything about RE5, right? And I'm like, strap in, because this is the one in Africa. And she's like, oh, it can't be that bad. And then we get into the chapter, and it's just like mouth agape. Just, oh.
But I want you to pay attention. Pay attention to how, like, the actual fix rolls out, in that can be there as long as it's deeper in. As long as it's past the point that anyone who's
it's probably past the return date.
Anyone who's playing to find out what they hate is going to notice, and like anyone who's too deep in at that point, the reviewers are not going to catch it, but like anyone who's playing to find out what the fuck they did it's way past the point they're going to hit, right?
Yeah. Whereas Gamer Girl is trailer 1.
But do you remember how they fixed the slaughter of Africa.avi?
I do.
Right?
I do remember.
Like, all they did was they made sure that whenever you saw a crowd of black zombies, there was always minimum 3 clearly white ones mixed into the bunch.
So
they made
the actual
a fucking algorithm.
One of the biggest things that they had that people complained about is that in the original footage, you get to see that there are maybe 20 character models, and they are all just variants of the same exact like skin tone and general clothing, and it's 99. There's not a single white person in that trailer except for Cris. And then when they gave us the second pass on that trailer, they're like, okay, 60-70% of these models are black characters, but you got one guy that looks like Saddam Hussein that everybody remembers, that one Arabic looking guy. You got the blonde guy with the short white hair, and you got like 2 or 3 other Africans in there. So it's like, okay.
Africans. Yeah, I believe that's the technical term. Zombie diversity pushed to the front, almost algorithmically. Also, here is Sheva. She is your black player 2 who also shoots the zombos. So it's not just the buff white man. And fixed. Solved.
And then my favorite part was that I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they did here. Maybe they're improving. And then you get to something that was assuredly not changed, which is, Cris, what is it, Sheva? We have to go save that white woman.
Yes!
We have to go save her.
Yes.
She's got blonde hair. She's the only blonde-haired white woman in the game, and we met. Oh no, they've ruined her. They've turned her into a monster.
And somehow, at the end of all of this, the most offensive thing to me is how they ruined Jill.
Yeah.
Who is also a blonde white woman in the game.
She looks terrible blonde. She looks awful blonde. She's much better as brunette.
It's the worst part. The worst part is they ruined Jill.
It's that game is nuts. That game is absolutely fucking crazy.
I would describe it as batshit. That's correct.
I have played through it a bunch of times and with a bunch of people who had not seen it. And every time it is a fucking trip when you get to various parts of it.
But make no mistake,
crazy.
Make no mistake, like the implicit fear of the other is what powers RE4 and 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
The gasoline in the tank is the fear of other.
It's the fear of like foreignness.
Absolutely.
That's why you're in foreign places.
It plays so strong on just, you know, you're and like you're not even like, you're not on the homeland defending it from the other. It's not fucking a home front where North Korea takes over America. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you're going to their place in their country, but you're playing as someone familiar, and thus the fear of other is
that's
firing.
That's the switch on it, because the older ones were a fear of the familiar, because you were in mundane, like normal scenarios with fantastical elements. I would love to see whatever fucking build of that game was the first build.
I would love to meet the person who makes it through the village of RE4 and then at the end goes, zombies? What zombies?
Well, I mean, they're not zombies.
I guess they're not. I suppose they're not.
They have the power of speech. But yeah, whereas let's roll it back on to Gamer Girl. Gamer Girl, you don't have to get into the game to see the gross. It's right there on the surface. And it blows me away that no one ever, like every single person on that team was like, yeah, dude, yeah. And they didn't show it to anybody who went, what the hell? This looks terrible.
Well, it got as far as Sony taking it, uploading it, and releasing the tweet. It got
Sony uploads and promotes Life of Black Tiger.
Black Tiger was, yes, this is true. This is true. Well, so that happened. And yes, the other thing we should mention is, what the fuck? Dragon's Dogma Netflix.
Like, I can see the like, I can see like the line from Castlevania anime to Dragon's Dogma anime, like in terms of production. But like,
of all the franchises Capcom could choose, why this one?
I have a sneaking suspicion that it is to get people talking about Dragon's Dogma.
Is the narrative anywhere near strong enough to warrant that?
No. Absolutely not. No way. But you could probably make a good trashy anime out of it.
But why wouldn't they instead make a
Did I call this a year ago?
Why wouldn't they instead make a Monster Hunter anime and not a dumb live action movie and like lean into that?
Well, the live action movies from Sony just make bank. Like fucking bank. They make tons of money.
Yeah,
and Monster Hunter is a popular name that it can bank off of. Dragon's Dogma is not a popular name they can bank off of. This is the difference between using the name of the video game to make the money, make the movie money, and this is making the anime get people to know what the fuck the name is, so that hopefully Dragon's Dogma 2 doesn't bomb as horribly as the first one did.
Right. There's apparently a Monster Hunter anime already. Is it I guess I was thinking of the Netflix animation thing.
There totally is a Monster Hunter anime. You're right, yeah. Forget what it's called, though. Monster Hunter Mesoporta Reclamation.
Okay.
There's some titties.
Sure.
Yeah, this is bad. This is a waifu anime. Oh, wait, there's also Monster Hunter Stories Ride On.
Oh, well, that makes sense,
considering story-specific anime.
Considering the story's game, yeah.
Holy shit, the Rathalos is a 3D model, and it looks like garbage. Oh my god.
Adds up.
Holy shit, this looks fucking terrible. Oh my god.
I'll always remember when, I think it was I think it was like Seth Killian or someone at one was saying at one of those Captivates that like Street Fighter the movie made fucking bank for Capcom. So
yeah, I believe that is true. Yeah,
despite all of the jank and despite everything that is like perfectly memeable about it, that thing on DVD made so much money that like they were like, we regret nothing. In fact, here's Legend of Chun-Li.
That movie's great. The original, not Chun-Li. Chun-Li's terrible.
Yeah. Dragon's Dogma. Okay, sure. I mean,
hey, I really like Dragon's Dogma. It's very, very similar to Berserk. It is embarrassingly close to Berserk in terms of plot. So I'm excited to see how they actually differentiate it.
Okay, so I've mistakenly thought things to be generic that were not generic in the past. So I'm extra critical of continuing to make that mistake. But the impression I always got of Dragon's Dogma, specifically Dark Arisen, was that it was mainly appealing because it had really great gameplay hooks going on, not because of anything plot related.
You're completely right. You're completely right. There technically is a story, but it is poorly told, and there's very little of it. And what little of it is there is just weird bits and pieces that are obviously stolen from Berserk.
So this remains a strange choice. But if it's promotion for the second game, then
I feel like when's this thing coming out? Dragon's Dogma anime is what? When's that? When's that happening? 17th of September? So somewhere between September and November we'll get a Dragon's Dogma 2 announcement. I bet you. And you'll see articles of, hey, did you know that anime on Netflix is getting a video game?
Call it Dragon's Dogma Deep Down.
In fact, I'm going to go further and say that anime is going to come out, and there will be elements in the anime that are not part of the original game, but are part of the sequel. Like there'll be a part where they go and talk to like a lizard man or something. And the lizard man will be like, oh yeah, there's totally a whole country of lizards over there that you didn't know about. It wasn't in the game. And then Dragon's Dogma 2 trailer will show up and, oh, you can be a lizard man. You know, shit like that. That's how I think it's going to happen. I really want to play Dragon's Dogma 2 so bad. That game, that first game is incredible. It's incredible.
First game expansion?
Both of them. They're both great. Dragon's Dogma is great.
I thought it was always the expansion that was what got praised. Okay.
Well, no, the expansion is fantastic, but the expansion is actually it's super weird. They're like two completely different types of games. One is like Capcom's attempt to make like Skyrim, and the other is Capcom's attempt to make Dark Souls. And they're both great.
Okay.
They're fucking weird. They're fucking super, super weird, but they're great.
All right, let's take some emails.
Let's take an email. You want to send an email and you send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
We got one coming in from okay. Matthew says, "Don't play Halo 4 and 5, Wooly. Don't play them. The series was always meant to end with 3. They're all fan fiction."
Oh man, after last week, I had such a wonderful experience going, should I give those games another chance? What's in the Master Chief collection? Only to be hit with just a massive shit throwing argument between people screaming about whether or not you should play Halo 4 and 5. Boy, people are mad at those games. They are mad at those games.
I'm just going to follow V's lead on that, and we'll see where it goes. Dear Woomy and port address translation.
That's okay.
Dom says, now that the dust has settled on the PS5 reveal, now that the dust has settled on the PS5 reveal, I think it's important to point out that the current state of being all digital. Since the PS5 event, I've personally spoken to many people who've witnessed, many people across the internet, Pat included, stating that the PS5 digital edition would most likely be their choice of the two. Stated reason being I haven't bought a disc in forever. Biggest problem I see with this is the lack of any real solid digital refund policy, which is something that absolutely needs to be necessary in this day and age. On PC, we're used to Steam's poor excuse for a refund policy, but at least something is there. Microsoft has something roughly similar to Steam, but Sony and Nintendo being the worst, lack any real means of giving customers a chance to catch themselves from falling. Most people don't have the luxury of being sent codes for every other game, and console players don't get the frequency of sales that PC players do. So I made myself a mistake of going all digital with my Switch at launch and have been burned more times over the course of 2.5 years than I ever have over the course of a decade on PC. I don't even look at my Switch anymore. Would like to hear your thoughts. Thanks, from Dom.
All right, step one. We occasionally get codes, but 95% of the games that I buy and play on my channel are bought of my own money. We tell you when we get codes, so you can actually go and check exactly how many of those are code-based. It's very little.
Correct.
The second of which is, where the fuck are you people returning physical games? I have never heard of that for like 15 years since GameStop said that you couldn't do it anymore. Like, I legitimately don't understand the question. You can't return
Future
GameStop. You cannot return.
Best Buy.
You can return opened Amazon games.
There are ways to return the physical product. What?
If unopened. I have not been able to return a game at a retailer in over a decade. I can exchange it for the same game if the disc is defective, and if it's opened, you're fucked. So how would I know to return it if it's not opened?
Either way, there does need to be a digital refund policy in place on all of the platforms. I mean, I haven't had any issues with Steam refunds personally. I've only heard the stories. Everything I've attempted to has gone through, but the fact that there's none on 2 of the 4 choices if you're going all digital that does suck.
Like people are saying you can return open stuff to GameStop, and no, you can't. Not here anyway. You absolutely cannot. Period.
Okay, well, GameStop aside, if you bought a physical from just about anywhere else, it's like any other product in the store under the usual product return policy. I mean, you can go to fucking Pharmaprix and buy a game. I bought a DS from Pharmaprix.
Is it possible to return games on Amazon? They must be unopened and in their plastic wrap.
People are bringing up Canada.
Yeah, maybe.
In any case, that aside, I also happen to be like, I like having the options. I am going mostly digital myself as well. But for circumstances where, for example, something that comes up often in my use case is pick up my console, go to a tournament. I'm not using hotel Wi-Fi for anything, and we have a bunch of games to play, in that sort of offline setting. If I have my console in an offline setting and I don't have and I have more than like what is already on my hard drive, discs are super handy for that, you know?
Yeah, the number one thing for me is that like I don't understand where people are talking about where they're able to return games, but even then, I'm sick of discs. I don't want them.
I'm out of shelf space for a lot of that. It is true. Again, my preference by default for games I'm going to sit and play by myself and, just enjoying the comfort of my own home are going to be anything that I'm getting are going to be digital for sure for this foreseeable future. But certain things, fighting games, going out to bringing setups to tournaments, that's a thing that I want a physical copy for. It just makes life easier for that particular environment. Going to like I said, traveling to any place, having a means to like deal with not having the internet but still being able to play one of these games. I like the security of having that possibility,
I see somebody just go, but what is the problem with discs? Like, why don't I like discs? I have boxes and boxes and boxes of 360 games in a closet over there. If I had kept buying discs for the PS4 era and the PC era, I would literally have run out of closet space in my house.
Okay, sounds like we're having two different conversations.
There's a straight up
it sounds like we're having two different conversations with different people, but
then sell them? No, you don't sell games. You might use them later for footage, dumbasses.
Yeah, for me personally, selling sucks. I'd never want to make the mistake. After I sold my Star Fox for $3 as a kid to Microplay.
Yeah, I had a story very similar to that. I sold like every Genesis game I had, and I got like $40 for it.
They handed me a toonie and a loony and said, thanks. And I went, wow, bag of chips and a Coke, huh? Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't worth it at all.
Whereas later on, when you're like, yo, Star Fox, you ever heard of it? And friends like, no, what's that? And you're like, oh my God, here you go.
Oh my God. You know what the one that broke me forever was that I was using the used game refund trick at GameStop to get free games over and over and over. And I sold them my copy of Zone of the Enders 2. And then when I wanted to rebuy it, I was unable to find it. And because I was much younger than I am now, I didn't have the credit card and all that, so I couldn't really get it through the mail. Mm-hmm. And then a friend of mine had recently picked it up used, and I asked if I could borrow it. And he let me have it for a weekend, and I opened it up, and my receipt was behind the instruction manual. Because it was, in fact, my copy that he had bought from GameStop. And I was like, dude, I'll buy this off you. And he was like, fuck you, no. And he took it back.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, God damn it. And I never got another physical copy again. And I was like, I am done with selling games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Like, the footage thing only came into my life way after the fact. For me, it was about, like, having it for replay and loaner purposes. I wanted to be able to be like, oh shit, this thing from back when, I want to pull this out and take a look at this again. Or there's a lot of things, or there's a point where I was just like looking back on things that I had and wanted to like revisit it, and you just don't know how long from the present that's going to be. Yeah, you can kind of just like only grab what's hot and current and deal with ports, but look at all the things that never get ported in a way, you know. So, selling something and then regretting it, I'm like, I don't want to ever experience that again. So I just gave up on selling games at that point, you know, personally. This is
always a downer.
Well before any footage recording for you know, Let's Play stuff. Yeah, like having the ability to like check something out with a friend, show it to them, lend it to them or whatever was something that I would do a lot. So, you know, yeah. And for the games I really, really love, I would just collect copies of them. So like Metal Gear and Third Strike are games I have like multiple copies of, to be fair. And that's what's taking up shelf space.
Hey, look at this. I'm on the Amazon return policy page. Any unopened, still in its plastic wrap, CD, DVD, VHS, software, or video game. It can't be opened. So I have no idea what these people are talking about. With the fucking return policy shit. And yeah, they still sell VHS tapes. Isn't that goofy?
And cassette tapes. In
Really?
fact, yeah, Too Mellow put Memories of Tokyo To on cassette. Pretty baller.
That's we got our Kickstarter game coming out on the Dreamcast, everybody.
All right,
that's the same energy.
We got one coming in from Cyrus. He says, "Dear Castle Super Beast, regarding your story last episode about developers saying Mass Effect 3 is a great place to start the series. A similar thing happened to Trails of Cold Steel 3 last year. When asked at a Q&A if the game would be a good starting point, Nissa answered with a resounding yes, despite the fact that it's the 8th entry into the ongoing story-focused RPG. They could have recommended newcomers to start at the beginning, but they instead chose to be disingenuous to market the game."
Incredible.
Hey, should I buy your product?
8th.
Should I buy your product? I mean,
no.
It's coming out and you're selling it for money, and there are reasons why I might not enjoy it if I buy it, but do you think I should buy it though?
You should buy it. You should buy it.
Bro, I don't understand what's happening in this game. I just wish someone would fucking tell me.
I wish someone would tell me. That's why games take their numbers off, by the way. That's the number one reason. Games pull numbers off their fucking games.
But if the content of the game is still the hard sequel, then fuck you for doing that. Why are you lying?
Hey, do you remember what the original Witcher 3 title and logo were?
Was it just Wild Hunt?
Okay, so it was I'm going to send you a link to it. So it was Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, right? But give me the photo. It was The Witcher 3, big 3, like big number 3, right? Mm-hmm. Wild Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed the logo
so that it's the 3.
So that the 3 is 3 lines.
The scratches
that form a helmet. So that so you would actually look at it and go, The Witcher Wild Hunt, and you go, oh, that's the first one.
Yeah. Why not go the opposite way and make it Witch Thrower?
It was probably considered.
Listen, I'm asking rhetorical questions because the answer is always very clear. If you make people think they can jump in now, you will sell more copies and make more money.
Of course.
Story. It's just
like Kingdom Hearts 3. It's a great place to start. It's actually the 18th or 19th game in the series.
Okay. Well, this is what it is, right? You market the game, you market the way you're gonna be the most profitable. This is how decision making goes. That's fine. Can you do the decent work of making a little catch up for anyone jumping in here? As in, Yakuza 3 had a what happened in Yakuza 1 and 2 little movie.
4 did too.
Shenmue
5 doesn't.
Shenmue had that. Zone of the Enders 2 had that little catch-up movie. Can you do the decent job of making a catch-up movie? If you want to get people in, so that when you lie to them to their face, you can at least say it's the perfect place to jump in. And if you want to catch up on what happened, we have a little feature here for you.
I don't want to. That takes time.
Do you think that guy in the tweet watched the 10-minute DMC recap?
No.
Because it's like, what happened in DMC? Here's like 30 seconds to go over every major event. And then here's 5 seconds for DMC 2. It happened. Moving on.
It was there. Lucy was there for like a second. She throws knives. Done. Video games are terrible.
I think Metal Gear is one of the worst cases because the weight of its own popularity, every release was monumental, right? Every single Metal Gear Solid release was a fucking mover. Every time it dropped, it had that effect, but it's also the most convoluted series to ever play standalone.
There are twists in every game that, including Metal Gear Solid 1, which if you don't know anything about the games that came before it, they'll go, twist! And you just blink and just stare straight. And you just, what? I don't, who?
Looking back on it, I'm actually kind of surprised at how little I remember any instances of like massive anger at new players jumping in and getting lost. Because I kind of think like the game is like even casually and meme level known for being crazy complex and wacky in its storytelling.
Well, it didn't run into that problem because Metal Gear wasn't a series in which it didn't start out that popular and then became hyper popular. It started out crazy popular. MGS1 fucking killed it on the PS1.
Yeah, it did. I mean,
there was the recap for Metal Gear 1 and 2 in MGS1. And then it was so popular that you didn't run into that problem. It's not the situation where, like me, for example, where Halo 1 and 2 came out on the Xbox, a console that didn't sell very well, but Halo 3 came out on the 360, which everybody had. So tons more people played Halo 3 than played Halo 1 or 2. And then it was like, what happened?
There were very few people that were like, oh my god, I remember that Nintendo game. Yeah, okay. There's a couple of those. There was even fewer people that were like, fuck yeah, Snatcher and Police Knots, let's go. And Solid Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake MSX, fans, like, yeah, that was it. Solid is definitely what kind of like created the, awareness of like, oh fuck, this is a crazy ass series and it's awesome. But everything that came after that, just, despite the fact that it's a large enough popular franchise to have tons of people jumping in for the first time, I just don't remember there being a lot of like indignation at not understanding what was happening in these very clear sequences.
I think a lot of that was masked by the parallel indignation of people complaining that the story was garbage. Because there was always that version of like, I played MGS3, the story's not so good. I don't get what you guys are on about. And then you go, well, did you play the other two? And they were like, no. And you'd be like,
Okay,
ah.
Perhaps to some degree.
Like I would go as far as say that MGS2's story is terrible if you didn't play MGS1. Because a lot of that game's narrative relies on you remembering MGS1.
4 doesn't exist if you play it.
4 is nonsense.
4 literally does not exist if that's the only game you've played, or if that's when you decided to jump in. If you floated in on the bandwagon on 4 because it was the big PS3 title at the time, fucking oof. Yeah. No question. No question. If 4 was your first one, good luck. If you made it out and you survived, then kudos to you. Holy shit, a lot of people played 4 for the first game. God,
that's fucked.
Damn, that's crazy. That's so... Do you realize how insane that is? It's insane because everything in 4 relies on the reference to the previous thing. And every single point, every single level, every single character,
it's like a Family Guy bit.
Every single event occurring is just... Hey, it's an All-Stars episode.
Like, down to the point of like, did you know that guy's not actually a magic vampire? He's a techno vampire. Okay?
Oh my god, look at Raiden. Look at him. He's so cool now. What the fuck?
What?
What happened to Raiden? How did he get this way?
What happened to what? Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess the
by the way,
I guess the age lines up, you know.
I have the confirmation that in the US you can totally return opened video games up to 30 days.
Okay.
So the value proposition of digital is very different. I don't know of any store in my life that I could ever return a new game opened until once GameStop shut down its return policy in like 2005, where you could return a new game for credit. And the reason why they stopped that was because you could use that credit and you could on used games, and you could return the used games for full price within a 14-day window. And people like me just scammed the shit out of them. I had that Zone of the Enders 2, $92 Canadian, go through like 20 games. Just scammed the fuck out of them. And then they killed that refund policy forever.
I'm still hung up on this, but if Guns of the Patriots was your first Metal Gear game, in the big moment when they're talking about the legacy of the boss and all the stupidity that came afterwards, like, how does that moment even hit you without the without
just
the
thinking of him on the boat doing the finger guns?
What, like,
and somebody going, "Why do people care about this series? I don't get it."
Or like Mama shows up and it's like, okay, some lady, sure. I can't begin to imagine what that must be like. That must be such a fucking...
Imagine turning to your friend and being like, hey, why does that guy shit his pants? And you go, oh, that's Johnny. He always shits his pants. And you go, what?
Or the fucking, like, the stinger that is an old man wheels out an even older ass man and just fucking plugs them out, and then they go, boom! Holy shit! And you're
we did it.
What? And like, for anyone who's been on the journey, you're freaking out at this moment because this is the most important shit ever. But you're like, who are these old? You know? Think about what this is, just from a distance. It's an old guy just unplugging some other fucking geezer. Like,
and now we will all return to zero.
This is good, isn't
What?
it? Is it?
I don't know.
Man, you guys, unless you guys played it with like the energy of I don't expect to understand. I know this says 4 on it, so I'm just going to stop trying, then fine, But it's still like God,
Remember
I
that
couldn't
Courage
imagine.
is Solid thing made that game look so action packed, and then that game has like hour and 15-minute cutscenes. Like the talk with Mama is like 45 minutes straight. It's crazy.
If you
No, I know exactly what it feels like. Playing MGS 4 as your first game feels like playing Death Stranding. As Death Stranding.
Yes, but Death Stranding has enough reading material that you can take it from step 1. But you're correct.
It feels like a bunch of games happened.
Yeah, yes.
See.
Agree. Yes. This is
It feels like Mads Mikkelsen's character had a whole game.
100%. And we saw the end of his journey, and it could have been unbelievable in that previous game. Totally. Fucking everything. Yeah. There was an entire Die Hard Man Gaiden.
Absolutely. People talk about, remember how cool Die Hard Man was? No! How could I possibly know that?
Yeah.
Like, Heartman has a whole game. Of how he tells you the backstory of how he became Heartman. That could be a whole game.
I mean, look, there is what's that? That's that. There's the boss in Dark Souls that is referencing their previous game, King's Field.
Yeah, but I mean, what boss? There's a lot of referential stuff. I think it's Seath, actually. Seath is a character in Kingsfield.
Is Seath directly from Kingsfield? Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that.
Moonlight Greatsword too.
Lords of Cinder and the Moonlight Greatsword and the hooded fucking dude with the big with the like kind of wings that you fight in the pit there. Shit.
The fuck are you talking about?
All right. Because I was basically gonna ask about Dark Lurker. Thank you, Dark Lurker.
Oh, is Dark Lurker from Kingsfield?
Yes, that's an earlier reference. And I was gonna say if you play those games and they actually made it so that it was impossible to parse what was going on without having played the Kingsfield series,
man.
The absurdity that would come from that, but obviously my memory is
nobody
shit,
wants to play Kingsfield.
So
I don't want to play Kingsfield.
Okay.
Those games are neat, and I don't want to play them.
In conclusion, for the second week in a row, don't skip the thing unless you're supposed to skip the thing.
Yeah. Oh, I'd like to clarify an earlier statement because I saw people confused about because we talk about Witcher, right? As the game. It's the game series I've seen the most people skip the first one. And I always say it's because Witcher 1 is a fucked up game for crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some folks interpret that as is it because it's like an Eastern European RPG? And the answer is no. It's because it is like a fuck. It is like alternating between a fucking flaming mess and brilliant, and it fucking barely works, and the combat is terrible. Combat is terrible in that game. Oh my god.
Yo, I cannot wait to see what Demon Fusion is going to look like in 5. Like, the quality of life is now going to be further and more advanced than ever before. It will be a fucking cakewalk to find what you want and just do it.
I will be glad to play that version of Demon Fusion.
It's
you know what I would like? I would, oh please God, for Nocturne fucking clean up Demon Fusion and update it. Please.
Like this is
please,
what I'm
Lord.
saying, because I'm watching as Punch Mom is closing out P4 right now, and like thinking about and my friend was playing like P3P the other day, and just thinking about like where this goes, and the number one biggest impact on your life playing all of these games is your Demon Fusion mechanic getting worse and worse as you go back in time. And,
it's unbelievable.
Amount of
everyone has their limit.
Hours. You lose hours on it.
Like, I refuse to go back to any game before Persona 4 Golden, because every game before that had you going in and out of the menu a million times to hope to get the right skills.
Yeah, 3 was brutal. 3 was brutal. But again, and I know that the further back you go, the more brutal it gets. But you know, so the like I can see Punch Mom running out of patience with it as we go further back in time, you know. But I definitely cannot wait to see what the modern take on it is, where you're just like everything is fucking indexed. You can pick a demon and get the results. You can, you know, reverse image. It's like Google versus like in modern day versus fucking Alta Vista of yesteryear, you know?
Oh man.
Like you have reverse demon search, you got combine, like just everything, every possibility, and like put them in jail, level them up, all that, you know. And then thinking about where SMT4 was at with the like that the entire system in 4 was just like, you know,
search fusions by skills.
Yes, please.
You want search like search fusions by new. Oh my god, like
there can be a whole team assigned to just the demon fusion of every SMT game, and just improving that on its own and making it the smoothest, most seamless experience ever, because it's where you're going to spend what, 25% of your time?
Probably
25% of your time. Yeah. All right.
I'm being horribly attacked by a cat on camera.
I'll leave it to it.
This cat is not intelligent. I can't believe that I ever thought cats were smarter than dogs. I look at this thing and it has no brain in its eyes. Just no brain.
No comment.